Cause I'm here to show the world something.
If you can hear these visions, then take a long, hard listen through the walls of this prison.
I'ma show the world something.
In case you haven't seen the signs, they'd rather I not give you peace in the mind.
Cause I'm here to show the world something.
And that made me a threat, they waged war, and that made me a vet.
Cause I'm here to show the world something.
Lighters up, heads high, your battle scars and the stars in line. Let's make this clear, we don't know why the fuck we here, where we end up when it's done, or why it's something to fear. How it started, who made the call, we know nothing at all. Just instincts, holding on when you sleep and you fall. The ability to share love, the humility to share blood. We have a will to help us change us. We have a reason, our belief in what we can't touch, what we can do to make it useful and enhance us. That's all I got for answers. If you and I were to unite, we cure the fucking cancer. Slay the beast, reign supreme, build a future faster. Pass up every bastard that been looking past us. Hands up, hand us back the culture. We can patch up the holes dug up by the vultures. We can handle the havoc in hell when it's unholstered. Slug to the shell, back in the pistol before it's over. If you can hear these visions, then take a long, hard listen through the walls of this prison. In case you haven't seen the signs, they'd rather I not give you peace in the mind.
Cause I'm here to show the world something.
And that made me a threat, they waged war, and that made me a vet.
Cause I'm here to show the world something.
Lighters up, heads high, your battle scars and the stars in line. Young Thundercat wanna rap, spit that flow. As long as the gap blow, he can get that dough. He thinking it's all he knows, cause it's all he's told. He has yet to get a taste of what he don't know. What it's like to be alone when your family is gone, cause you putting them all in danger, bringing bullshit home. When your bitch has enough of your shit and she hit the bricks, and your brother from another trying to slip her the dick. When the walls get thick behind bars and brick, cause you stood in front of a judge and watched someone you love. Detailed in the script, telling all of your shit. You realize you're getting buried in the hole that you dug. Most times, things are nothing like you imagine. We tend to see the romantic and never question the damage we cause with these flaws. I'm asking for answers and you just grasping at these straws. If you can hear these visions, then take a long, hard listen through the walls of this prison. In case you haven't seen the signs, they'd rather I not give you peace in the mind.
Cause I'm here to show the world something.
And that made me a threat, they waged war, and that made me a vet.
Cause I'm here to show the world something.
Lighters up, heads high, your battle scars and the stars in line. Change something, show the whole world you can make something, create something. We got nothing to take nothing. You stay frontin', you walk in the stage and say nothing. Say something, you standing over the grave dumping dirt on your own, the shovel, the chrome, the same function. The powder, the charge, the bullet right through your brain function. The future's the past, the system is crashed. There's a virus in your iris, third eye made of glass. Learn to feel, differentiate the false from the real. Religion from human spirit, you survive through your will. Family first, nurture your own. They gon' pass the knowledge on the generations long after you gone. Question it all, think for yourself. Accept your mistakes. When you fail, never forget how it felt. Teach someone something instead of bitching about the cards you was dealt. Only then will your presence be felt. If you can hear these visions, then take a long, hard listen through the walls of this prison. In case you haven't seen the signs, they'd rather I not give you peace in the mind.
Cause I'm here to show the world something.
And that made me a threat, they waged war, and that made me a vet.
Cause I'm here to show the world something.
Lighters up, heads high, your battle scars and the stars in line.
Alright, 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 alright.
Life isn't fair. why you scared. They over the hilltop, I see them right there. They'll wait for the kill shot, they'll sit and they'll stare. If we got a real shot for us, it's up there. We're hopeless if we stop, they'll kill us right here. Living in death's den, run through the best winds, storming the front gates. Whatever gets us in, whatever gets us over, whatever helps us win, whatever we must do. Rescuing our kids, as long as they get through it, don't matter if we live. God chose to bless you, I'll take all that death gives. I'm into this war ends, in memory of dead friends, in hope of a new way when all of this death ends. Who can we call on? It's me and it's all y'all. We're here by our lonesome, nobody to fall on. Flesh in the dirt, fire to ashes. Fate getting closer every moment that passes. Running away, no one is there. No one to save us, nothing to spare. How can I change what? We landed here. It's not the same sun, this is despair. One of us came up, none of us cared. They want to change up, life isn't fair. It's how we made, huh? Now you aware. It's why you fear us, this why you scared. Show me a safe place, does it exist? It must be a wasteland where nobody lives, that nobody knows of, where nobody's been. Where we at is warfare, every kind you can get. What you can't get is real love or fucking respect. Set up for failure, a life of neglect. If none of us stand up, we'll live with regrets. If we rise, we might die, I call that a good death. What would I live for if I am oppressed? How can I raise up with the world on my chest? Who's gonna save us if you and I rest? They shoot us in cold blood when under arrest. Lock us in cold cells, consider it home now. Cut off from emotion, our feelings are stone now. Our buildings are blown out, the madness is so loud. It's dark and there's no sound, we gotta go now. Running away, no one is there. No one to save us, nothing to spare. How can I change what? We landed here. It's not the same sun, this is despair. One of us came up, none of us cared. They want to change up, life isn't fair. It's how we made, huh? Now you aware. It's why you fear us, this why you scared. The illness is prevalent, natives malevolent. Hunger, starvation now, no hope for a heaven sent. Kiss the babies goodbye, say I love you to wives. Grab your weapons, get your steps in, we gon' ride when it rise. The sun mean what when it's blinding your eyes? Put the wind to your back, leave them facing the sky. Put the pain in the dirt, raise your bloody fist high. Use your brain, do the work, strategize and survive. The rush of the dust up, the thrill of the gun buzz. The satisfaction of our reaction when there's no one to help us. The spoils of war, the hunger for more. The passion of how we smashing what we hate through the floor. The rage, the loneliness of dead on the page. To cleanse this land, gotta burn more than just sage. Crush the cage, body and soul unafraid. Kill them all and set them ablaze. No running away, no one is there. No one to save us, nothing to spare. How can I change what? We landed here. It's not the same sun, this is despair. One of us came up, none of us cared. They want to change up, life isn't fair. It's how we made, huh? Now you aware. It's why you fear us, this why you scared. This why you fear us, this why you scared. Salute, salute, salute. Welcome, welcome, welcome everybody to Shy Ill Reacts Live. I am your host, Shy Ill, and we are back at it like bad habits. Salutes to y'all on this lovely Tuesday afternoon. Hope everybody's having a good day wherever they at. We chilling for a bit. Salutes. Appreciate y'all being here. We hanging out. We got a couple of things to go over today. It's been a while since we've seen each other, a couple days. You know what I'm saying? Last live we went through the whole La Barbie saga. And his letter to the president. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to drop that. Waiting to get the monetization notice on that so I could drop that. But again, salutes to y'all for being here. Number 28, Shy Ill Reacts. I am your host, Shy Ill. Salutes to the usual suspects in the building. All right, 030 North on the check-in first. Old Soul, salutes. PR Black, salutes. Jonathan Pantoja, salutes to you. I appreciate you guys being here. Had something that I wanted to check out. And plans change, but we'll talk about that in a sec. Shout out SoCal, back at it like crack addicts. Absolutely. We are here. Chucky Chigong on the check-in. What's good, brother? Salutes. Appreciate you being here. Hope everybody's having a good day. All right? Don't let them get to you. Don't let them knock you off your square. Hope y'all out there getting a bag of money. I mean, and having a good day, man. You know, It could be worse. There's a lot of bad shit happening in the world. There's probably bad shit happening next door, so who knows, right? Again, salutes to y'all. I appreciate y'all. We are back, and we are back over the 6,000 sub mark. So, round of applause to the usual suspects. Round of applause to everybody that comes up here and hangs out with me on a regular basis. I appreciate you guys. To all the newbies, we'll appreciate you a little bit more when you hit that like button and hang out with us. But salutes for what salutes for the views that you threw our way. You know what I mean? All right. But to the usual suspects and the people that are that have been supporting me, not just since day one, but consistently. I appreciate you guys. I try to stay as consistent as I possibly can as far as dropping videos and doing lives. All right. Right, bit of housekeeping today. Got no. Before we get to housekeeping, again, 6,000 subs. Salutes, Velez. Salutes to Velez on the check-in. Said, well deserved, Shy. I appreciate you. We got our 6 stacks. Again, I wanted to do it on the stream the other night and sit here until we got it, but things got out of hand. We got about 6,050 subscribers right now. Hard-earned 6,050 subscribers. Thank you to the Flores twins. Thank you to Valerie Flores. Thank you to Vivi Flores for their story. They've helped us get there as well. So much appreciation to them. Shout out to JC Wrong to Strong. Shout out to Damien Cash. They've helped us get there. So I appreciate them. Chucky Chigon said, just seen your boy Nonstop was with X when he got held in Africa by the warlord. Crazy. Like I was in the room for them telling them stories at times, and that's probably top 5 craziest story of all time. That's bananas. So maybe we'll do a reaction to that one day. That's dope. That's dope. Shout out my brother Nonstop. Salutes to Nonstop. Spoke to him a couple of days ago. He had opinions on the Mike Tyson Jake Paul shit. Don't we all? You know what I mean? But salutes to Nonstop. But yeah, they was they weren't the only ones that have been, sequestered and tried to be held in Africa. I believe it was Angola. Yeah, they're not the only ones. Joe, they try to keep Joe there. They try to keep a couple people there. Yeah, I ain't going. I'm straight. But yeah, maybe we do a reaction to that, to Nonstop telling that story one day. I think that's dope. But yeah, so we got 6,050 subs. So salutes to everybody that has helped and put a hand in, put a foot forward. I'll even give shout outs to Finnegan's Take. You know what I'm saying? Neil, salutes to you.
Old Soul donated $20. Salutes CHIL, salutes chat. Congrats on the 6,000 subs, homie. Keep on grinding.
There it is. All right, that was another piece of the housekeeping that we are going to talk about. Our power chats and our Streamlabs power chat is up and running. So as you see right there, Oso just dropped a $20 dono. Salutes to Oso. I'm going to run it back, let it play one more time, and then I'm going to read it out to y'all.
Old Soul donated $20. Salutes CHIL, salutes chat. Congrats on the 6,000 subs, homie. Keep on grinding.
Salutes to Oso for the $20 power chat. Salutes Shael, salutes chat. Congrats on the 6,000 subs, homie. Keep on grinding. I shall. I appreciate you, big homie. Thank you very much. Part of the housekeeping is, yes, we finally got those links working and running. So from now on, you can have your comment pop right up on the screen. For the minimum of a $2 donation, your comment will pop up right in the middle. We'll try to build a culture around here that even the people that come on a regular basis know. Again, something I learned from the Content King Zaya is we respect the money around here as far as conversation kind of stops at its next point, and the priority is that dono. So that dono is there. Those links are in the description, and it'll look like, we're going to play it one more time. It'll look just like this.
Old Soul donated $20. Salutes CHIL, salutes chat. Congrats on the 6,000 subs, homie. Keep on grinding.
So salutes to Oso for that. I appreciate you. Thank you to Power Chat and Streamlabs for getting my shit together. And yeah. See, SoCal said, I'm new to the community, but did the Flores twins say anything about the capture of El Nini? If so, I'll check out the video if there is one. We haven't had that conversation, but we'll talk about that in a sec, SoCal. Hold that thought. I also have another feature that I picked up here where I'm trying to get the messages pinned on the screen. I want to get messages pinned on the screen, like right down there, but I haven't figured that out technically. So y'all just let me figure that out, and we'll go from there. But yeah, we'll talk about that, SoCal. Chucky said they said nonstop new Spanish and picked up that what they were leaving out. Absolutely, it took Spanish. There's a lot of languages that have Spanish in them, or some form of it, and you could pick up on things. And he definitely used that to his advantage. Otherwise, they'd have been blind to what was being said around them. Salute Chucky Chingon. He said, congrats. Absolutely, man. So that's it, man. 6,050 subs. All right. So we got those text-to-speech links in the chat. in the description for those that want to use those. We also have super chat, super thanks, super stickers. If you want to support the channel on that level. What else do we have? We have the Ill Shop. Y'all can check out the Ill Shop. All right. I'm going to drop the link in the... There's a link for it in the description, and we're gonna drop a link in the chat. Boom. Usual suspect gear, different color combinations, hats, t-shirts, mugs, right? Usual suspects gear. Working on getting some more designs in here when time allows. We also got Il Cartel merch in here, different color combos as well. Right? I'm gonna drop that in the chat real quick. Here is the Ill Shop URL. So if you want to support the channel on that level, you have an opportunity right here. Buy out. Boom. Got the Il Cartel single color logo. Right? Boom. And we got the apron for El Guapo. Not to be mistaken with El Chapo, the boss of the backyard. El mero mero of the man cave. All right? For the barbecue man in your life. Right? Also, don't forget we have the No Pillow Talk pillow covers for the young hustler in your life that you want to remind on a regular basis.
Jonathan Pantry donated $5. Salute Chio for all the great consistent content and always grinding and growing. Congratulations on the 6K and everything to come your way. 100.
Salutes to Jonathan Pantoja, one of the usual suspects. Appreciate you for the $5 donation. He said, salute Sha'il for the great consistent content and always grinding and growing. Congratulations on the 6K and everything to come your way. Salutes to you, sir. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you supporting the channel on the level that you do. Thank you very much. Salutes Chucky Chingong in the chat. He said, dope merch. For sure. Look at this. So we got the No Pillow Talk pillowcase for the young hustler in your life, so you can remind him to keep his mouth shut. All right, you say nothing, they know nothing. That's it. Boom. All right, so if you want to support the channel on those levels, you have every opportunity. The other thing you can do for me is don't cost you a thing. It's just a flick of the thumb. Bow, hit that like button. Appreciate you. Hit that like button. If you have yet to subscribe to the channel, please do. And we'll be moving forward, man. We're trying to get to this 10,000 ASAP. All right, this little white bar up here at the top, the green is taking over the white. So let's make that white even smaller and smaller till we get to our goal of 10,000, and then from there we shooting for 50,000. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Again, salutes Jonathan Pantoja. Appreciate your dono. Thank you, sir. Chucky Chigon said, "Did you get rid of them two clowns who disrupted our crew chat?" No, but we are going to create a system here, right? We're going to create a system here where you guys can get rid of these clowns, all right? I can't convince clowns that they're clowns, but we will be putting clap tokens on people's head. I will put together a system where for a donation, you can knock them out of the chat for 24 hours if you feel they are interrupting the stream and trying to take my focus off of what we're doing here collectively. All right, we're going to put a price on their heads. I've had many an argument in the Discord, but nothing serious, just, trolling trolls. So that's it. They'll be mad, and it is what it is, but we will be putting the clap tokens. We will be implementing clap tokens on their head. I'm going to put a price on 24 hours. You get them out of the chat. 24 hours, you get them out of the Discord. And then let's say we have a panel up here and there's somebody that's, what we plan on doing in the future, having our people on. If there's somebody you want to clap off of there, we'll get them out of there too. Again, these are all ideas and techniques and I realize now why he had to create them. But these all come from my guy Zaya X, Sneaker Scandals, Ease the Crave. I'll link. We do the sneaker battles there. Again, this channel of his is strictly for the fuck shit. So don't go over there if you're looking for some PG-13 shit. You know what I mean? It's not gonna work for you. Jonathan Pantoja said it made for great content. The fuck shit, yes, the fuck shit over there. Oh, the troll shit in the Discord. Yeah, it happens. Sometimes you gotta do that. SoCal said, hell yeah, I'm down for banishings to begin. Yeah, we're gonna do some banishings. I'm gonna put together a menu, and we're gonna be able to send these dudes off again. Thank you to Zaya for all the techniques that I'm picking up from him, because I understand why he does it. Sometimes it's cool. Trolls are going to be trolls, but sometimes these guys want to come and throw the show off his access, and it's like, all right, well, it's going to cost you. And if people are annoyed with you, then they have an opportunity to get your ass out of here. So I think we're cool with that. This troll shit is on another level. I lose it, brother. Props. Yeah, man, like every now and then I like to treat one the way they like to treat people. They don't like that shit. I don't give a fuck. So it is what it is. Chucky said, yay. But yeah, so now I did get rid of the rooster. The rooster got to get out of here. You can't make claims like that and then, be hanging out over here. You got to go make a whole new name, a whole new whatever to come back here. You gone. And if I catch a whiff that you're the rooster, you back in the soup. Jonathan Pantoja said them sneaker battles ain't for the faint of heart. No, neither are their donos over there. Their donos over there are very disrespectful. This is not something that you play out loud at work. This is something for your own ears, only if you love the fuck shit. You know what I mean? For those that know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But it gets bad over there. This is a place where trolls get to roam freely. All right? And they get confronted a lot. So let me link you to that real quick. Here we go. This is the Sneaker Scandals page. Take this and drop this in the chat for those that are into shoes. This is where they do that. And again, this is where I got my clap token idea. They even use it for sneaker battles. If you're up in a battle on points, I could put money on you and take points away from you, and you start from a deficit. So, it adds another wrinkle to the game. It's pretty dope. But again, like Jonathan said, it's not for the faint of heart. So, beware. All right, beware. All right, but again, salute to Zaya for all the techniques we will be implementing over here. I will be implementing the clap token so you guys can get people out of here. Out of here. Take a 24-hour break. Go take a shower. Relax. All right. Salutes to y'all. That one guy dropped like 400 as if it was nothing. Yeah, no, it happens over there. Over there, it's a lot of big money dudes over there that drop nice bread on battles, on challenges. They send them off on challenges. They just did a Hot Wings challenge yesterday. All right, so what was on the agenda for today? Now that we got the housekeeping out the way, we done patted ourselves on the back for the 6,000 subs. We got our Power Chat donos up and popping. Appreciation to Old Soul and Jonathan for utilizing that technique. Everybody else, please hit the like button. 14 concurrent viewers, 9 likes. We need to get that up. What I was going to do today is... So the other day in the comments, we always say that this place is a platform not only for the Flores twins, not only for people affiliated with their story, but for the people that were somehow hurt or somehow, put out by their story. that this platform would be open to them. All right, that was always on the agenda. That was always something that was, open door policy. As long as I can vet the information and know that this was true. The other day in the comments, well, lately we've been hearing a name pop up, and it popped up in the comments a couple of times, and it was Ron, and people were talking about Ron, right? Well, the other day, someone that says he's Ron's son was in the comments, all right? He respectfully came through and commented, and he said they testified against my father, and they got my father 30 years, all right? I asked him who his father was. He said Ronald Collins. And I made it clear to him that, do you want to tell your story? Or do you want to, be a conduit and speak for your father? He declined. I respect it. You know what I'm saying? I respect it. I respect him even coming and commenting on the video. You know what I'm saying? Salutes to him. He turned it down. He said, nah, I'm straight. I said, well, just so you know that if you or your father ever want to tell your story, this platform is open to you. You know what I'm saying? And I left it at that, and so did he. So, I appreciate him for watching. I appreciate him for being here. So, with that being said, what I was going to do, I found some paperwork. I found the paperwork for Ron's case, for Ron Collins' case. And I was going to go through that. We got a person that's been coming around a lot lately named Peter. And Peter was telling me that there's a SoundCloud link to a phone call between Pedro Flores and Ron. He couldn't give me the link, and I feel like I've heard this phone call before, but he couldn't give me the link in the comments because YouTube deletes links from comments, and they delete foul language, they delete, what they consider bully stuff. I have no say-so in that, in what they delete, you know what I mean? Contrary to the Rooster's beliefs. So he was trying to give me the link to that. We couldn't get it. He's not in the Discord yet. So I said, let me hold off on the Ron Collins because I found the superseding indictment of the Flores twins, and I found a memorandum on the motion to depart from the applicable guideline range. So I figured we'd read that today. We'll take some time and read that and hang out. I'm going to be here a little while, and then I got to go bounce and do my thing. It's going to be a busy week, but I will be on and off. Plan on going live as much as I can this week. Chucky Chingong said, damn, that shit probably hits hard hearing these guys out here and his pops is locked down. Absolutely, and I'd love to hear his story. I'd love his story to be heard. You know what I'm saying? I don't want nobody to ever think that this is a one-sided affair over here, But I'm sure it's a hard thing hearing them tell their story while the old man's locked up. You know what I mean? Shout out Julio Caldenas. Much love, Shael. Saludos, Cuates, Pete, and Jay. Salutes to you, Julio. Thank you for being here, sir. I appreciate you. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to hang out. I'm going to read these indictments. This is some of the paperwork that we've seen Oakland Leaks pull up on his screen. And let me go back to SoCal's message. Let's see. Where is it? There it is. I'm new to the community, but let me see if I got it right here. Hold on, let me see something. No, I can't do it. I'm trying to get this thing to work. I'm new to the community, but did the Flores twins say anything about the capture of El Nini? If so, I'll check out the video if there is one. No, we haven't had that conversation really. I believe the only thing they've touched on with that is like, look how people do their friends. You know what I'm saying? Oakland Leaks did do a detailed account of El Nini's whole situation, and maybe hopefully one day me and the twins could react to that story. But I will make sure the next time I speak to them to ask them about El Nini, so that you can get your answers. So I appreciate that. Thank you. But so salutes to y'all. Hit the like button. We're going to hang out for a minute. I'm going to get into these indictments. We're going to read them together. I'm going to start with the superseding indictment first. This the big boy one right here. All right. Let's see. Here we go. All right. Salute, y'all. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Tell a friend to tell a friend. All right, let's get to this 10,000. United States District Court, Northern District of Illinois, Eastern Division, United States of America versus El Chapo, El Mayo, Vicente, Alfredillo, Alfredo Compadre, Juancho, Helman Olivares, Felipe, Tomás Arevalo Renteria, Pedro Flores, and Margarito Flores. Here we go. Count one. The special February 2008 two grand jury charges, beginning no later than in or about May 2005 and continuing until at least on or about December 1st, 2008 at Chicago in the Northern District of Illinois, Eastern Division, and elsewhere. Saludos, Diego. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here, bro. Hundreds up in the chat for all of y'all. All right, we celebrating 6,000 with some legal paperwork. Salute to y'all. Much SoCal said much love when payday hits, sending over some super chats. I appreciate you. Thank you, sir. Eastern Chicago in the Northern District of Illinois, Eastern Division, and elsewhere. El Chapo, El Mayo, Vicente, Alfredo, Alfredillo, the twins, Germán, Felipe, Tomás. Defendants herein did conspire with each other and with others known and unknown to the grand jury, knowingly and intentionally, to possess with intent to distribute and to distribute controlled substances, namely 5 kilograms or more of mixtures and substances containing a detectable amount of brocaine, a Schedule II narcotic. I gotta find a new letter to start the word narcotic with. Rug, controlled substance, and 1 kilogram or more of mixtures and substances containing a detectable amount of heroin, a Schedule I narcotic, controlled substance in violation of Title 21. All right, y'all, I'm just still getting my words together today. Salutes Ruben Contreras on the check-in. Hundreds up. Vernon Himes, salutes to you, sir. Everybody hit that. I'm going to pin this. Everybody hit that like button. Shout out Crash Out. Salutes to Crash Out. Appreciate you being here. Boom. Pinned up. Hit that like button, y'all. Overview the conspiracy. Brendan Hype said 20 watching. Shasha have 20 likes. Salutes to you. Absolutely right. The math ain't mathin'. Overview the conspiracy. Number 2, it was a part of the conspiracy that defendants El Chapo and El Mayo each directed factions of brocaine and heroin rug trafficking organization in Mexico, commonly known to its members and its associates as the Sinaloa Cartel. The faction of the Sinaloa Cartel directed by Chapo was the Guzman Loera faction, and the faction of the cartel directed by Mayo was the Zambada Garcia faction. Snarcotics. SoCal says snarcotics. I'm going to try to do that one. I'm going to try to get... here we go. I got an opportunity right now. And the faction, the Zambada Garcia faction, coordinated the snarcotics trafficking activities with each other, with other factions of the Sinaloa cartel, and with other affiliated cartels in an alliance commonly known to their members and associates as the Federation. All right? Crash Out said, how you get hooked up with the twins? Through this channel, Crash Out. Through doing these reactions to their podcast. Salutes. Number 3, at times during the conspiracy, the Federation included a narcotics trafficking alliance among the Guzman Loera faction and the Zambada Garcia faction of the Sinaloa cartel, and among others, Arturo Beltran Leiva, who also directed a brocaine and heroin rug trafficking organization in Mexico, commonly known to its members and its associates, as well as to the public as the Beltran Leiva cartel. Shout out DJ 20. Salutes to you, DJ 20s. We here reading indictments. Y'all give me 1 sec. Sorry, when your mama calls, you answer the phone. How you get DJ 20? So salute to you, DJ 20s. Crash out. I can't say that word on YouTube too many times without them demonetizing the video. So we changed the words around here, as every other channel on YouTube has been forced to do lately too. You know what I mean? Again, salutes to y'all. Appreciate you being here, DJ 20s. We celebrating the 6,000 sub jump off over here with legal paperwork, with indictments. Here we go. At times during the conspiracy, they've answered that question. SoCal, do the Flores twins have any corridos written about them? I've never looked that up. They said they don't think so, and if they did, they wouldn't be. People would not be allowed to sing them in Mexico. It's in one of these. It's in one of the early exclusives I did with them. It's the one where Peter's all by his lonesome talking to us at the end of. The one that got all of those guys on the front of it. That's the one. I'll link it to you when I get a chance. At times during the conspiracy, the Federation, including a narcotics traffic alliance among the Chapo faction and the Mayo faction of the cartel, and among others, Arturo Beltran Leiva, who also directed a brocaine and heroin rug trafficking organization in Mexico, commonly known to its members and its associates, as well as to the public as the Beltran Leiva Cartel. In approximately early 2008, a split occurred between the Chapo faction and the Mayo faction of the cartel on the one hand, and the Beltran Leiva Cartel on the other. This split resulted in the Beltran Leiva Cartel ending its alliance with the Chapo faction and the Mayo faction of the cartel and the rest of the Federation. Since this split, the Chapo faction and the Mayo faction and their allies on the one hand, and the Beltran Leiva cartel and its allies on the other, became engaged in a violent war in Mexico over various issues, including control of lucrative narcotics trafficking routes into the United States and the loyalty of wholesale narcotics customers, including but not limited to defendants Pedro Flores and Margarito Flores, the Flores brothers. Saludos, Luis Garcia. Appreciate you being here, sir. Shout out to Luis. Jonathan said, talking in code like Chicago gangueros or members of secret society. Guy talking code around here, bro. YouTube is playing games, all right? Hit the like button, y'all. Here we go. Number 4. It was further part of the conspiracy that Chapo and Mayo and members of Chapo's faction and Mayo's faction controlled by them coordinated their narcotics trafficking activities to import multi-ton quantities of brocaine from Central and South American countries, including Colombia and Panama, to the interior of Mexico. Chapo and Mayo and members of Chapo and Mayo's faction, controlled by them, coordinated the unloading of multi-ton shipments of brocaine in Mexico and coordinated the transportation and storage of these shipments within Mexico. Chapo and Mayo and their gangs, controlled by them, coordinated their narcotics trafficking activities to smuggle multi-ton quantities of brocaine, generally in shipments of hundreds of kilograms at a time, as well as multi-kilogram quantities of heroin, from Mexico across the United States border, and then into and throughout the United States, including Chicago, Illinois, and elsewhere. Can you say Shaw City? LV said, congrats on the 6K. Salutes to you, sir. Thank you very much. We appreciate your help. K said, ask the twins about Skinny from the west side. We'll do. It's already on the list. Diego said, what up, Shot? Salutes to Diego. Appreciate you being here. SoCal said, I'll check it out. But yeah, I imagine the corridos would be banned in most of Mexico. Kind of like you can't jam CDS corridos in Jalisco and vice versa. Yeah, but here's what's hypocritical to me about that. All right? Hit the like button, y'all. All right? Nobody else is interacting with the chat like we interact with the chat, except for the fuck shit going on at ETC. Here's the problem. Here's the problem I have with that. To me, it's hypocrisy for them not to have a song that's banned out there or whatever. Why? Because there's plenty of other figures in this whole cartel world that have testified and that have done worse than them, and they sing their songs proudly wherever. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's weird to me. It's a whole weird culture. Again, that's us picking and choosing though. That's the people. The people pick and choose who it's okay for and who it's not okay for. You know what I'm saying? And then they take it from there. You know. Boom, boom, boom. Getting hit from all over the place. Got to do an audition today. Busy days, y'all, but I thrive for them. I live for them. So yeah, I feel like it's a hypocritical situation. Like, you bumping a song for one, you bump a song for the other, because what the hell does it matter? You know what I mean? Like, y'all forgot to mention that part in the corrido, that part about so and so testifying in this corrido and that corrido. So I don't get it. It don't make sense to me. Let's see. Number 5, it was further part of the conspiracy that the Flores brothers and their associates, collectively the Flores crew, operated a wholesale cocaine and heroin distribution organization. Damn, I said the words, didn't I? Threw me off my square. Distribution organization that distributed thousands of kilograms of cocaine and multi-kilogram quantities of heroin in Chicago, Illinois area and elsewhere. The Flores brothers obtained substantial quantities of cocaine and heroin from the Chapo and Mayo faction of the cartel. Members of the conspiracy. Number 6, it was further part of the conspiracy that defendant Chapo was a leader of the Sinaloa cartel and was the head of the Chapo faction and was ultimately responsible for its operation. Chapo obtained and negotiated the price for multi-ton quantities of cocaine from Central and South American countries, including Colombia and Panama, and directed and arranged the transportation of multi-kilogram quantities of cocaine and heroin from the interior of Mexico to the United States border, then into and throughout it. So they're just repeating it, but they're just putting everybody's name in it. Boom, we repeat the same thing there for Mayo, number 7. Same thing for Mayo, and it's the same thing for Vicente. United States. Here, let's read Vicente's probably further. It was further part of the conspiracy that defendant Jesus Vicente Zambada, aka, I'm straight on all that, was a high-level member of the Sinaloa cartel and the Zambada Garcia faction and was responsible for many aspects of the cartel's operation. Vicente acted, among other things, as a logistical coordinator who coordinated deliveries of multi-kilo quantities of cocaine, heroin into the United States on behalf of the Sinaloa cartel. Also Alfredo, same deal. Let's see. Alfredo acted as a logistics coordinator who coordinated deliveries as well. Alfredo Compadre acted as a logistical coordinator as well. Juancho was a high-level member of the Sinaloa cartel and controlled the Culiacan Plaza, meaning controlling the flow of narcotics through the geographic area of Culiacan, Mexico for the Chapo faction. Juancho acted as a narcotics broker and logistics coordinator. All right. It was further noted that Germán Oliveras, he controlled the Juarez Plaza, meaning controlling the flow of narcotics through the geographic area of Ciudad Juarez, Mexico. And it was further, Felipe, last name unknown, was a heroin supplier who worked with and defended Ismael Zambada and the Zambada faction, who coordinated deliveries of multi-kilo quantities of heroin into the United States. So that was the heroin plug. Shout out Diego. He said, Shy, asked the twins about the one call that got our Chapo on. It sounded like he was really nervous. It sounded like he called our Chapo way 2 times. Did you listen to the Surviving on Chapo podcast? Because I think they talked that phone call I think they got into that phone call pretty deep. But again, we can ask him when we have the conversation, of course. I'll make a note of it, but I'm just saying, if you guys haven't seen that stuff, some of the answers to your questions are in those episodes. You know, they get into pretty good detail on some of them. Shout out SoCal. He said that's true. And Mayo's brother Ray is a whole ass songwriter in the industry, and we know what he did in courts. Yeah, like nobody. It's crazy to me. Diego said about the Chapo. No, okay, I asked him about that for sure. I put that down. Ian said, Shy L100. Salutes to Ian. Appreciate you being here. Diego said we don't usually use that slang on senores like that. I'd expect that, but yeah, we'll ask him about that. But Les said that ain't true. There's guys that actually like the opposing cartels corridos and ask singers or bands as to play them at their parties. Right? I would hope it would be like that. Like I would hope corridos ain't getting judged because somebody ratted when the other 10 corridos got somebody that ratted on them. So I guess they, yeah, like you said, they use this gang signs, man. You know, that's like going to one spot and them saying play the Ja Rule shit. You go to another spot, they want the 50 shit. You know, it's like that. Crash Out said, ask the twins if they ever met the guy who really runs all the cartels that live in Dubai. Crash Out, are you in our Discord? We got a whole section for questions. So make sure you get in our Discord. I'm gonna note your question. But we have a place for questions like that so that you don't get caught up in the claps when the claps happen and people start getting annoyed that I'm stopping to answer questions. The Discord link is right here. You can get up in the Discord. We got a whole section for questions. But you could also leave them in the comments. You can leave them here too. I'm gonna start reading them and just noting them rather than acknowledging them because then it takes away a little time. So let me do this. Here's the Discord link though. We got a whole section for questions you could drop in there. Boom. Bow. There's the link right there. But again, feel free to ask your questions in the chat. But it's a lot more. It does a lot better for the show if you do it in that Discord right there. Shout out Jonathan. He said, Diego, there's a reason why Pete sounded nervous. It's all throughout the videos and part of the story. Yeah, I mean, shit, I'd be nervous too. He was nervous that moment and every moment after that. Shy, what's your most favorite thing about the twins? Favorite thing? I don't know. I don't be keeping favorite things about people. I just like that they laid back. They don't expect nobody to change their mind about them. They don't expect me to do anything they they solely want me to do. Like there's no pressure. Like it's like talking to a couple of dudes from Chicago, you know what I'm saying? That are here to tell their story. They help out. I appreciate them. It's they helped. They helped. I don't know, they're not rah-rah. I don't have a specific favorite thing, but, I appreciate the conversation. I appreciate that they're open to give us their time. I appreciate that they get into the stories. Again, everybody has their perspective. We get to hear theirs. So I appreciate that. I like that about them. There's a lot of things there's a lot of preconceived notions that I had that I no longer have. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. So salutes to them again. And I like that they're not the type to get. So I'm doing this right here, right? I'm about to read their indictment and read notes of the people that they put on phone calls and rolled up in this indictment, right? They're not gonna hit me up mad that I'm doing this because they know what I'm trying to accomplish here. They know that I'm just telling the story. You guys want to hear the story. Again, I appreciate y'all because now y'all have started to come back and hang out with me even when I'm not reacting to just cartel stuff. The cartel stuff is what worked for us and worked for the channel. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate that we're able to go talk boxing. Again, I got a Ryan Garcia update that I want to do. I don't have time for it right now. Maybe tonight, but but I appreciate that part of it. But I know that my fan base enjoys this story. I want to know more of this story. It's the whole reason I started. I knew I was going to watch the podcast. I wanted to know more about the story. Well, now it's hard to find anybody on the internet that knows more about the story than myself and our audience. You know what I'm saying? My playlists have more of this story than anybody else has on the internet. You know what I mean? Again, it's all good, but they're not the type to get salty about this. There's dudes that are salty about facts. You can't be salty about facts. SoCal says, so we can drop any questions for the twins in the Discord? Yeah, see, there's a question section there. I don't expect the twins to go in there and answer it. Again, I'm going to print up and put rules in the Discord of what we can and can't do. I don't want my guests to have the audience jumping in their inbox. I wouldn't appreciate that. That takes away from the show, takes away their time. It's kind of intrusive. So we're gonna make rules against that. But I have places to put the questions so that I have that list there. So when it's time to pick questions and they're here, I can go through that list. Can I guarantee that your question is gonna be answered? No, but it'll be there. And it'll be represented, if that makes sense. So yeah, jump in the Discord and throw them questions in there. I mean, even Pete threw a question in there for the audience. You know what I'm saying? Peter Flores threw a question in there for the audience. We took a poll on it. He said, what's worse? Killing your friend or telling on him? It's a very nuanced question that people take very black and white. And it's surprising to some people the outcome of the answers. You know? But that's what we're here for. So again, that's my favorite thing is that it's an easy relationship of we're all here for one thing. Nobody is trying to, nobody's upset about, oh, I said this or I covered that, or no, we all have our differences of opinion, and it is what it is. So I appreciate it. Perfecto Jake said, hell yeah, salutes to you. Appreciate you being here. Jonathan said, I feel like we get more in depth with them and there's more meat on the bone when engaging with them. Yeah. Jonathan said unaliving. Yeah, I got to make these words habits. Weird. Diego said, Shai, do you think the U.S. government should classify cartels in Mexico as terrorist groups so the U.S. can fight them? So the U.S. can fight them. My question is, okay, you're going to fight them, right? So then what you going to do here, though? You're going to go fight them? What you going to do here? You're still going to have drug addicts. You're still going to have drugs. They're still, every time I feel like they're going to classify someone as a terrorist group, it's because they just want to go gangbang. That's what I feel like they do. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's a lot of ways they can handle this scenario. But sometimes the only way they think they can is with a bomb. Does that make sense? So I don't know yet. I'd like to talk to the twins about that question. You know what I'm saying? Do you think the government should classify cartels in Mexico as terrorists? I feel like the U.S. be sticking their nose in shit, except for their own shit. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Are they terrorists? Are they terrorists here? I mean, it's their drugs that's coming in, right? To America's drug addicts. So I don't know, man. So I wasn't prepared for that right now. Like, I'm reading this indictment, but that's my answer. I don't know. But you see where my thinking's at on it. You know what I mean? Vernon Hunt said if that happens, they will poison every load that crosses the border. And it's like, what? That's a wipeout of a big piece of the population right there. Gone. Shout out Velez said Oakland League said he's going to make a Flores Twins video. The Twins and you should make a reaction video to that one. Absolutely. I will put that bug in their ear. Thank you, Velez. I will definitely put that bug in their ear. Will do. Where we at here? What time is it? 2:30. All right. Back to this indictment. Tomas, same old thing. He was a narcotics broker and customer for both factions. And the Flores twins were narcotics customers of both Chapo and Mayo's faction, as well as the Beltran Leyva cartel, who purchased and distributed multi-ton quantities of cocaine, usually in shipments of hundreds of kilos at a time, and received from both factions simultaneously, as well as multi-kilo quantities of heroin in Chicago, Illinois, and elsewhere. Means and methods of the conspiracy. It was further part of the conspiracy that Chapo and Mayo and their factions, same old thing, South American countries, including Colombia and Panama, to the interior of Mexico using various means, including but not limited to Boeing 747 cargo aircraft, private aircraft, submarines, and other submersible and semi-submersible vessels, container ships, go-fast boats, fishing vessels, buses, rail cars, tractor trailers, and automobiles. Not to mention the Amores Perros style mules. You know what I'm saying? So who knows? Um, yeah, that'd be a good idea, Valessa. Well, that was most definitely gonna be on the menu anyway because he keeps mentioning them in the little stories and stuff, and I'm like, okay, eventually he's gonna give us something we want to watch. Salute y'all. Hit the like button. Hundreds up in the chat for y'all. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all join the Discord if you'd like. After this video's done, make sure that you guys go watch a video that you have yet to watch on this channel. If you haven't seen the Surviving El Chapo podcast, here's the link for that. The Surviving El Chapo podcast. If you haven't seen the Cartel Wives audiobook reactions by me, boom. Cartel Wives right there. Tragic death of Zach TV. Rest in peace. Zach TV. Paste. And I got one full of true crime stories. Y'all can check that out. Copy. Paste. Shout out Go Bucks in the chat. He said the struggle for TV remote is real. Don't know what you're talking about, but salutes to you for being here. Thank you. Here we go. It was further part of the conspiracy to the United States. They're just repeating stuff, y'all, including distribution to the Flores crew and others in the greater Chicago, Illinois area and elsewhere. Elizabeth Green said, why not just not mention your friends? Because with those deals, evidently, I guess, Elizabeth, salute to you for your question. Thank you for being here. I guess with those deals, you got to tell them everything. Again, which is why I feel like they have no bodies. Because they had an opportunity to get all the bodies off their chest and they didn't. So, if they left a friend off that list, that deal would end up being null and void the moment that the feds found that out. That's my thought on it. That's the logic behind it. Jonathan Pantoja said true crimes ain't for the faint of heart either. You went in that playlist, Jonathan? It's crazy in there, huh? Let's see. But yeah, that's my answer, Elizabeth. I think you gotta tell them everything. You don't tell them everything, you don't got a deal. They provided Sherwin to the Flores crew and others on consignment without payment at the time of delivery. Payment was subsequently made by the Flores crew and others on their behalf. After some or all of the Brocane and Sherwin was sold to customers of the Flores crew. See, that sounds different. But Flores crew was here though, so I get it. I understand now. It was further part of the conspiracy. Originated with Guzman. At certain times during the conspiracy, the Flores crew obtained and distributed from Chicago, Illinois, and elsewhere an average of 1,500 to 2,000 kilograms of brocane per month and received some of that quantity, and at certain times all from Chapo and Mayo, and some of that quantity at certain times from their factions in the Sinaloa cartel. Further part of the conspiracy. For other the Flores crew received the brocane and Sherwin in greater Chicago, Illinois area. For other shipments, the Flores crew received the brocane and Sherwin in the greater Los Angeles, California area, where truck drivers for the Flores crew transported the brocane and Sherwin to the greater Chicago, Illinois area for further distribution. It was further part of the conspiracy that the Flores crew used several warehouse locations to unload and store shipments of brocane and Sherwin received from the Chapo Mayo in the greater Chicago area. We just check the technicals, make sure we good, everything's good. Diego said next time twins come on, ask them if they listen to Gonatello. Will do. Elizabeth Green said, I think they should have just stayed working at McDonald's. I think they wish they would have just stayed working at McDonald's. Hundreds up for Elizabeth in the chat with that one. I think they wish they would have just stood at McDonald's. They'd have probably owned some franchises, 20, 30 franchises by now. All right, let's see. Several members of the Flores crew were responsible for unloading narcotic shipments, delivering the narcotics to one of several storage locations used by the Flores crew, separating narcotics deliveries into smaller amounts to be distributed to customers of the Flores crew, and delivering narcotics to customers of the Flores crew. And further into the conspiracy, Chapo and Mayo caused the delivery of large quantities of cocaine and heroin to members of the Flores crew for further distribution to customers in the greater Chicago area. The Flores crew sold the cocaine and heroin for cash to wholesale customers in the greater Chicago area, as well as to customers of Detroit, Cincinnati, Ohio, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., New York, Vancouver, British Columbia, Columbus, Ohio, and elsewhere. Wholesale customers in these areas further distributed the cocaine and heroin to other areas, including Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Jonathan Pantor said the girls are going to cause the immunity clause fall. The girls are going to cause are gone because of the immunity clause falling apart. I watched that Wild Florida interrogation room video. Was traumatizing months ago. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, there's a lot of crazy stuff in there. It gets lighter because people weren't digging the heavy stuff. There's a channel called Evil Intentions, terrific channel. I'm gonna link y'all to that channel one day soon because I want to cover some of his stuff. The guy got a bunch of crazy stories. Go Buck said Meech got moved to FCC Coleman. Low salutes to Meech. Salutes Go Bucks. Ohio in the building. Ohio in the paperwork too. Delivering shmoney, collecting. It was further in the conspiracy that the Flores crew responsible for collecting and picking up payment for customers of the Flores crew, delivering this shmoney to various storage locations used by the Flores crew, and counting and packaging the shmoney, and reporting cash receipts to the Flores brothers. It was further part of the conspiracy that members of the Flores crew and other co-conspirators counted cash narcotics proceeds and packaged them so that they would be delivered to couriers who would transport them back to Mexico. Members of the Flores crew then delivered and caused to be delivered millions of dollars in cash, narcotics proceeds to other co-conspirators, including members of the Chapo Mayo faction who smuggled the proceeds back to Mexico in bulk. All right? Smuggled the proceeds back to Mexico in bulk. Trucks, tractor trailers full of money, which is why Jay is telling them to put up checkpoints going into Mexico to catch that money. I mean, it doesn't mean they're going to do it. I don't think they're going to. They'd much rather say it's a terrorist state and go after them than put up those checkpoints. I believe that. That's for sure. Hit the like button, y'all. 30 in, 20 likes. Salutes to y'all. 30. I appreciate y'all being here. But yeah, the United States will spend the money on going to war over there than they will putting up checkpoints on the way out. Who smuggled the proceeds back to Mexico in bulk. Chapo Mayo and members of the Chapo Mayo faction transported and caused the transportation of large quantities of cash, narcotics proceeds from the location in the United States to locations in Mexico. It was further part of this conspiracy that the Flores twins routinely delivered large quantities of United States currency from the sale of cocaine and heroin to Chapo and Mayo of the Sinaloa Cartel in one bulk shipment, without differentiating which portions of cash narcotics proceeds were in payment for a particular faction's cocaine or heroin. So he just sent the money in bulk. Y'all figure out, who I owed what over there, and that's it. Crash Out said that's why they got Bitcoin now. In fact, I'm sure there's some money getting moved around in Bitcoin. I'm sure. Members of the Guzman faction regularly receive multi-million-dollar payments from the Flores crew after deliveries of cocaine and heroin were made to the Flores crew. What else here? Conspiracy that the florist crew maintained ledgers in paper and electronic form which tracked information relating to the florist crew's rug trafficking activities, including but not limited to amounts of narcotics received, money sent to Mexican sources of supply, including Chapo Mayo, amounts of narcotics delivered to customers of the florist crew, the courier and couriers responsible for particular deliveries to customers, money received from customers, and payments to members of the florist crew. So these guys had a whole Fortune 500 company going on right there. Eduardo Jimenez said, bro, glad I was able to join the live. I too am glad you were able to join the live. Salutes to you, Eduardo, on the 6,000 sub celebration we having today. Everybody that's coming in, make sure y'all hit the like buttons. Bing, hit that shit. Hit the like button. Let's move this channel to 10 stacks quick as possible. Salutes to you, Eduardo. Elizabeth Green said, people committing crimes and looking for deals scare me. Be terrified because they all do it. It's not a rarity anymore. It's probably never been a rarity. We just pick and choose what we want to see, you know. But be scared. Be very afraid. You know, stay out of it. There's no such thing as honor amongst thieves. Jonathan says, so this is like an arraignment type document where they're reading all the defendants in a RICO. Absolutely. This is the big boy. This is wrapping them all up right there. Remix TV, Eres Chingong. Any hood novels or books on the topic you recommend? Man, as far as books, the best, so far I haven't gotten into much, but I want to read El Traidor. I want to react to that with the channel, but it's in Spanish. So I'd have to figure out a way to get that translated before I do that. But El Traidor is what I hear is a good one. I haven't read it. Cartel Wives, absolutely. And our playlists, man. Go check out our playlist. The Twins got a book coming soon. But yeah, I'm not very up on the books. But salutes to you, Remix TV. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for the engagement. Salutes. LB said, if you say it's a terrorist organization, you have to go after any and all legit businesses and banks who are linked, which will include our own banks. The USA will never deem them terrorists. Good answer, LV. Good answer. I'm sure there's probably a lot of truth to that. Probably a lot of truth to that. Again, that's why Crash Out said put it in Bitcoin. Luis Garcia said it's a good book. Yeah, I want to do it, but I want to do it with the people, and I got to figure out how to. You would think they would publish that book in an English audiobook. They could hire me. I'll do the translation myself and read it. You know what I mean? Jonathan Pantoja said your birthday coming up, right? Yes, sir. Birthday is around the corner. I will be. My birthday is Thursday. It's gonna be a rainy day. I don't think I'm gonna do much. Probably go live and hang out with y'all. And then Saturday, I'm going to hang out with the fam and probably go live on some IRL shit. You know what I'm saying? From where I'm at. So I'll let y'all know. But yes, sir. Vernon Heim said the Bluegrass Conspiracy is a killer book. I don't know nothing about it, Vernon. Appreciate you. There you go. Remix the Bluegrass Conspiracy. On this topic specifically, yeah, I don't have no... other than Cartel Wives and, I got mad YouTube channels and YouTube videos for you, though. Eduardo Jimenez said, bro, I believe El Traidor is on audio and translated to English. Bro, if you could find me a link for that, please do, because I looked and maybe, my search skills suck, but I couldn't find it. I couldn't find anything in English, and I wanted it in English. So if you could find that, we'll definitely do that. Absolutely. Hold on, y'all. You know what it is. You know what it is. All right. But yeah, so this is a breakdown of that. Here we go. We're at the bottom of it anyway. Hunting El Chaps. I think Hunting El Chapo is another good book, says Luis Garcia. I don't know what. I feel like one of them had a. Did that one have an English translation? I gotta go look. But there was a couple of them that I want to look at. I own a couple of them. I just haven't gotten to them yet. Every time I'm gonna sit down and listen to something, I consider if my audience wants to listen too. And then I'll put it aside and not mess with it. So I'm looking out. All right. Boom. No, we got you, Luis. Salutes to you. Couriers, boom, more couriers. Here we go. Possession of narcotics in the Northern District of Illinois. It was further part of the conspiracy that Chapo Mayo and the Flores crew possessed with intent to distribute large quantities of narcotics in the Northern District of Illinois, including to but not limited to the possession of narcotics seized by law enforcement officials as described below. All right, you ready for some numbers, y'all? Woo! Hundreds up in the chat. We about to get some numbers, y'all. We about to get some numbers. Damn. It's by the guy that caught El Chapo. He wrote a book. The guy that caught him, huh? Bananas. All right, let's get into the numbers, y'all. Here we go. Hit the like button. June 5th, 2005, 398 kilos in Bloomington, Illinois. February 12th, 2007, 300 kilos, Naperville. Young Jizzle said, run it up, run it up, run it up. Salutes Yael. Salutes Young Jizzle. Jonathan Pantoja, hundreds up in the chat. I'm with y'all. Let's get these numbers. Now, these numbers is just what they was giving up and rolling up in this whole case, right? So I'm sure these numbers are low compared to what was really going on. And these numbers are already crazy. All right, June 5th, 2005, 398 keys. February 12th, 2007, 300 keys in Naperville. The 398 was in Bloomington. July 9th, 2007, 400 keys, Lockport, Illinois. May 26th, 2008, 8 keys, Chicago. See, this is when they started getting the guys on the street. This is when they started... When the shit started trickling downhill. Young Jizzle said already, salutes to you. Let's pin that. I'm going to pin that up there to run it up. Run up them likes, y'all. Boom. This is when the shit started rolling downhill. Hitting the guys that was getting 5, getting 8, 12. Chucky said, yeah, they seem low. Jonathan said some of the worst places you don't want to work getting caught. Some of the worst places you don't want your work getting caught. Oh, okay, your work getting caught. Absolutely. Illinois and South Holland, 8 keys. Melrose Park, 250 keys. Chicago, Illinois, 15 keys. But all of this, when y'all ask about these prices, these years, these times, these dates, this is why the prices were what they were. North Lake, 20 keys. Chicago, 8 keys. Chicago, 12 keys. This is November 14th, 13th. November 14th, 2008, 77 keys. Ontario, California, on its way to Chicago. November 15th, 2008, 86 keys. Same deal. They smashed up that Cali to Chicago connection right there. November 18th, 89 keys. So these things was getting hit one right after the other. By this point, it's like how they didn't see it, how anybody involved didn't see it and just walk away. I wonder how many did. Salute to Elizabeth Green. She said free Ron. Elizabeth, stay tuned. We're gonna not today, maybe tonight, but we're gonna get to Ron's story. But Jonathan said Bloomington and especially Naperville can't be having that. They need that. It was further part of the conspiracy. Here we go. Collected and packaged Illinois. Currency seized by law enforcement. Here we go. On or about April 4th. Now you think about the numbers that these dudes was doing. This was nothing right here. What they gave up was nothing compared to what they had already done. Here goes the money. April 14, 2008, $4 million. Wait a minute. Let's see if this is what it was worth or the money seized. Collected and packaged. The Flores crew collected and packaged in the North District of of Illinois.
quantities of United States currency from the sale of cocaine, heroin, including but not limited to the currency seized by the law enforcement. So this is seized money. Chucky said at that point, your head between your legs and kiss your ass goodbye. Bye. Absolutely. April 14, 2008, $4 million. October 29, 2008, $4.7 million. November 4th, 2008, $4 million. November 17th, 2008, $1 million. November 22nd, 2008, $715,000. And November 25th, happy Thanksgiving, $4,770,000. Just one little bag just fall out and land in my lap. Nah, none of that. I can't be that lucky. Let's see. Acts of violence in furtherance of the conspiracy. Right? The Chapo faction, Mayo faction utilized various means to evade law enforcement and protect their narcotic distribution activities, including but not limited to obtaining guns and other weapons, bribing corrupt public officials, engaging in violence and threats of violence, and intimidating with threats of violence members of law enforcement, rival narcotics traffickers, and members of their own drug trafficking organizations. So nobody was safe from the violence. It was further part of the conspiracy that Chapo and Mayo and their factions utilized various means to protect and further their narcotics distribution activities from rival narcotics trafficking organizations, including but not limited to the Beltran-Leyva cartel. This means included but were not limited to threatening acts of violence to their wholesale narcotics distributors, including the Flores brothers, if they engaged in narcotics trafficking with rival cartels, including the Beltran-Leyva cartel. All right? Violence was threatened upon the twins. I wonder how much money they really found. Aside from what was on that list, absolutely something fell off that list. A couple of things probably fell off that list. But again, the twins probably had the fucking memorization of the whole log, so they could probably account for every dollar. Utilize various means to ensure they received payment, right? Threats of violence. They sought to obtain weapons from the United States and discussed the use of violence against American and or Mexican government buildings. They discussed the use of violence against these targets in response to the arrest by Mexican authorities of Mayo's brother and his anticipated extradition to the United States, and in retaliation for the respective governments' enforcement of their narcotics laws, and in order to perpetuate their narcotic trafficking activities. The factions discussed the use of violence in the smoke, a coded term for Mexico City, Mexico, an area of Mexico in which narcotics trafficking was controlled by the Beltran-Leyva cartel, so that public and government blame for such an act of violence would fall onto Arturo Beltran-Leyva and the Beltran-Leyva cartel. So they'll smoke you and then blame somebody else for it. All right? This is, again, a tactic. And everybody's out there picking and choosing, and I don't get it. It doesn't make sense, no sense to me. People are always saying, I don't agree with everything you say. I don't know, but you don't. But you're not explaining it to me. You know? All in violation of Title 21. All right. Count 2. Wait, how long is count 2, though? Okay, we right there. Count 2. Where we go? Count Dracula. Let's see. Count 2. February 2008. Grand jury further charges. Continuing until at least blah, 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 blah. Same people. Controlled substances. Same deal. This is all the same shit right here. Oh, this is just for everybody. This is the counts for everybody, so we're good on that. How much time I got? Let's see. 2:49. All right, I'm about to jump into that other one. Wait, I want to see what this bread is right here. Forfeiture allegation. Let's see. The allegations of count 1, 2, and 3 of this indictment are realleged and incorporated by reference as if fully restated herein for the purpose of alleging that certain property is subject to forfeiture to the United States pursuant to provisions of Title 21, United States Code Section 853. As a result of their violations, all of these people, defendants herein, shall forfeit to the United States any and all property constituting or derived from any proceeds they obtained directly or indirectly as a result of the violations. And 2, any and all of property used or intended to be used in any manner or part to commit or facilitate the commission of the violations. The interests of the defendants jointly and severally subject to forfeiture to the United States pursuant Title 21 include but are not limited to $938,415,000 in United States currency, representing the estimated proceeds of defendants' narcotic distributions organizations. Son of a bitch. $938 million. Almost $1 billion right there, all right? So that was the wraparound right there. That was the Rico Suave right there. Right? They put everybody together and they say this one talked to that one to do this. That one talked to that one to do this. Next thing you know, everybody going to jail. It's just, it is what it is. Jante Pantoja threw the money bags in the chat. Money bags indeed. Money bags indeed, my friends. Sheesh. Right, let me check out this other document and put it up against the time that I have left up here. Let's see. This one's gonna be fun. Yeah, this one's gonna be fun. All right, I gotta fly through this. Let's fly through this. All right. Salutes to y'all. 6,000 deep. Well, 6,000 subs, you know. We 32 deep right now, so salutes to y'all. Appreciate y'all. 23 likes in the chat. Please hit the like button. Let's get into this second piece of paperwork right here, which is the government's sentencing memorandum in motion to depart from the applicable guideline range. This is the Chief Judge, Ruben Castillo, in front of Ruben Castillo. This is the United States versus Pedro and Margarito Flores. All right? Get this popping over here. Knock that down. Perfect. All right. Here we go. United States of America. This is America. Hundreds up in the chat. Appreciate y'all being here. Government sentencing memorandum in motion to depart from the applicable guideline range. The United States of America by its attorney Zachary T. Fardon, United States Attorney for the Northern District of Illinois, respectfully submit the following sentence memorandum and motion to depart from the applicable guideline range pursuant to USSG blah 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 whatever that means. With respect to the defendants Pedro Flores and Margarito Flores Jr. Right there, I'd have been like, oh, you got the wrong person. My name isn't even on that. You put my dad's name on that piece of paper. I'm Margarito Flores Jr. Mistrial, get me out of here. That's just me talking shit, though. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Introduction. In 2008, Pedro Flores and Margarito Flores voluntarily broke away from their positions in the highest echelons of the cartel world to transform themselves into extraordinary witnesses. Despite great personal risk to themselves and their families, the Flores brothers amassed substantial evidence that directly allowed the government to build cases, which were unprecedented in this district, targeting the leadership structure of the two Mexican cartels. Not only did the Flores brothers' actions facilitate the targeting of these criminal enterprises from the top down, but their cooperation further enabled the government to completely dismantle the Flores brothers' own organization and convict over a dozen large-scale domestic customers, as explained in further detail below. The Flores brothers' unparalleled assistance to the government sufficiently offsets their considerable criminal culpability to such a degree that the government recommends that the court impose sentence at or near the low end of the agreed range, 10 to 6 years imprisonment set forth in the plea agreements. So this was the argument between if they were going to get 16, 14, 10, 12, whatever. And the judge threw it around in the middle, 14. No, not in the middle. He threw it towards the high side and dropped them 14 years. They did 12 and a half. All right, here we go. Procedural background. Defendants surrendered themselves to the custody of the U.S. Marshal Service on or about November 30th, 2008. So that's when they turned themselves in. Mind you, the whole year before that, they were giving up them loads. Is this when they got pulled from Mexico on November 30th, 2008? No, they might have already been in custody. It says here surrendered themselves, so I'm guessing this is when they got them. Defendants surrendered themselves to the custody of the U.S. Marshal Service on or about November 30th, 2008 and were subsequently charged in the first, second, and third superseding indictments in this matter with conspiracy to possess with intent to distribute and to distribute controlled substances in violation of Title 21. And a conspiracy to import a controlled substance into the United States in violation of Title 21. On August 22, 2012 and August 23, 2012, defendants pled guilty pursuant to plea agreements to count one of the third superseding indictment. That's just the offense conduct. Between May 2005 and December 2008, the Flores brothers operated a Chicago-based distribution cell for the Sinaloa Cartel and the Beltran Labor Organization. On average, this cell received 1,500 to 2,000 kilos of brocaine per month. Approximately half of this brocaine was distributed to the Flores brothers' Chicago area customers. The other half was distributed to customers in additional cities, including Columbus, Cincinnati, Philadelphia, New York, Washington, D.C., Detroit, and Vancouver. In particular, the Flores brothers negotiated directly with the leaders of the Sinaloa Cartel and BLO, as well as their principal lieutenants, to obtain large shipments of brocaine and heroin on credit. The Flores brothers knew that the cartels transported brocaine from Colombia to Mexico using multiple methods, including planes, boats, and submarines. The rugs provided to the Flores brothers were then smuggled across the U.S.-Mexico border using cartel transportation infrastructure. Once inside the U.S., the drugs were transported to the Chicago area using a system of stash houses, warehouses, and vehicles with hidden trap compartments. Clavos. In Chicago, a team of workers operating at the Flores brothers' direction were responsible for offloading the rug shipments, storing the rugs at various stash houses and warehouses, distributing the rugs to customers, and collecting and packaging rug proceeds. The rug proceeds were then transported back to Mexico once more through the cartel's infrastructure, where they were delivered to the Flores brothers and their sources of supply. Salutes. Objections to the PSR. The government concurs with guideline calculations in the defendant's PSRs and does not have any objections or suggested corrections to the PSRs. Defendant's cooperation and government's motion to depart from the applicable guideline range. The government submits that the defendants have provided the full and truthful cooperation required by their plea agreements. Accordingly, pursuant to the terms of the plea agreements, the government now respectfully moves this court to depart from the advisory guideline range and sentence defendants at or near the low end of the agreed range of 10 to 16 years set forth on the plea agreement. They didn't do that. Judge stuck it to him. And said, nah, go and take this 14. The defendants earned their departures through extraordinary cooperation. The defendants jointly decided to dissolve their criminal enterprise and cooperate with the government. Pedro Flores first met directly with a DEA agent assigned to the Chicago Field Division and then NDIL AUSA in early November 2008. During this meeting, Pedro agreed on behalf of both brothers to cooperate for a period of time and then surrender to U.S. authorities. The Forrest brothers then proactively cooperated until their surrender on November 30th. So that was all those 9 months before that. They were, trying to get Chapo on tape, and they were, knocking down loads and doing whatever they could do with no help from the government. And they surrendered on November 30th, 2008. That's when they got pulled, and that's where Val's exodus from Mexico began. The brevity of this proactive cooperation was dictated by its extreme risk, heightened by the fact that the multiple seizures described below caused the Flores brothers to quickly incur massive debts to the leaders of the Sinaloa cartel. Again, to incur debts that wasn't their thing, and if the government would have let them just continue to do business, nobody would have had any whiff of what was going on. But the government was, the government, they served two masters. You know what I'm saying? And they really don't give a shit about, if the twins got, if they got hot because these loads getting hit, and the next thing you know, they're gone. They don't give a shit about that either. Werner Heim said, do you think the 3Bs had anything to do with them getting the 14 instead of 10? I think a lot of it. I think even what's happening to the women now might have, it sounds crazy and it sounds petty and little, but the United States government is petty and little. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would think that even making an example out of the women the way they did is probably has something to do with a lot of this stuff. Like, the 3Bs ain't just it. There's a lot of little things that these dudes could have been heard about, that they, use them as an example. The women and the twins. Flores brothers quickly. Chucky Chingon said government didn't care. They're like whores, just use you for what they can. Exactly, you're disposable. I mean, they're no different from the heads of the cartel. Everybody's disposable. It's just, you're a paper plate, man. Real talk. Everybody's just a paper plate. It doesn't, they don't differentiate, they don't care about nobody. It ain't like they can sit there and joke with you and laugh with you while you sitting there doing your interrogation, but they don't like you. They won't like you. You're disposable. Elizabeth Green said it's been a tactic since the beginning of time when people are trying to be sneaky or can't face their rivals, but it is still ratting. I know men that were real men. This is unbelievable to me. Here's what you got to understand, Elizabeth. I agree, right? I agree. And you say it's a tactic since the beginning of time, right? When people are trying to be sneaky or can't face their rivals. Here's the thing about Mexico and the cartels. This is a weapon for them. Cooperation is a weapon for them, right? Doesn't make it any better, right? But at the end of the day, yeah, there's a bunch of dudes that stand tall here in America, and it's our culture. It's no snitching. Woo. Over there, they don't give a shit. They'll call the police to pick you up to bring you to them. Like, it's all blended and mixed in together. So it's like, to me, they're all cooperators. You know what I'm saying? So like, I can't keep pushing the same line over and over. Oh, they're cooperating, If so is he, so is he, so is he, so is he, so is he. We'll be talking about it forever. But I understand your frustration. I understand where you're coming from. And I agree, there are men out there that stand 10 toes down and they ain't going to say a word, and they'll be there 30, 40 years. They'll do their time and they never rat nobody out, and that's their thing. That's cool. But, playing in this game, now you got to really understand that the culture and the cartel culture is we use power. All right? We use power. And if power means we're going to use the police, if power means we're going to put you in jail, if power means we're going to cut down your family, then that's what they use, So again, I know guys, just like Chucky says, he says, same Elizabeth, I know guys who held it down. Mexico is on a whole different set of rules. Yeah, Mexico's on a whole different set of rules. I too know guys that held it down, Werner Heim says part of their culture. I mean, from the top down, the people that choose Chapo, you didn't hear him screaming Mayo's name. You didn't hear him saying he was just a patsy. He did the whole Lee Harvey Oswald. Nobody talks about that. We pick and choose, right? Why? Because we pick and choose because we got a relative. We pick and choose because we got a friend that stood down, we got or got ratted on, and this and that. We pick and choose. They don't pick and choose. It's at random. Everybody's disposable and anybody can get it. It's just it. Jonathan said they thought that everyone on the plane were cool with them until they arrested them and made them an example getting off the plane. Yeah. And you know what I wonder about too? And I'm going to ask them this question. Because there was no pictures of them getting off. We got pictures of Chapo getting off planes and shit. I ain't found no pictures of them getting off planes. Elizabeth Green said, I believe the twins were bitter. The things they went through, their older brother didn't want them in the game, and I believe he had his reasons. I mean, if I'm an older brother, that makes sense. I don't want my younger brothers in the game either. You know what I mean? And I mean, you could believe they were bitter, but it's like, what, I don't know what that does in the bigger scheme of things, though. Like, what were they bitter about? Like, what's your theory? You know what I mean? I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate the discourse. I appreciate the conversation. I believe he had his reasons. He didn't want them in the game. I mean, what? Did he smell a rat? Did he know when they were 15, 16, 17 years old that they weren't built for it? Nah, I just think big brothers shouldn't want their little brothers in the game. You know? Go Bucks. Don't eat the cheese. That's it. Don't eat the cheese. Everybody has that's their choice. They did that shit. You know? Jonathan said they were born into the game. Elizabeth Vernon says, I was wondering the same thing, Shy. I even went looking for pictures of them getting off the plane. Nah, I didn't find nothing. It's been over a year I've been looking for that. I never found nothing of them getting off the plane, nothing. The only thing you saw was their mugshot. That was it. All right. Just keep it moving. Let's keep it moving because I got to make an exit. Debriefing the Flores brothers to attain all of the historical information they possessed took approximately 6 months of near daily proffer sessions. During this process, the Flores brothers provided information freely and to the best of their abilities. They each testified before the grand jury numerous times after the raw information they provided had been distilled into organized statements on each of the categories of defendants. These statements led directly to the charging of approximately 54 defendants in 2009. Following their testimony, the Flores brothers were sent to Board of Prisons facilities outside of Chicago, but still continued their cooperation through frequent telephone proffers and in-person visits by the government. This ongoing cooperation has led directly and indirectly to multiple additional defendants being charged and has contributed to probable cause findings in search warrants and wiretaps through the use of information provided by the Flores brothers, attributed to them as confidential sources in affidavits filed in support of such requests. Chucky said they never gave Big Bro his spot back. Big Bro probably was salty getting cut out when they used his connect to blow up. Salutes, J-Fam. Congrats on the 6,000, fam. I appreciate you, J-Fam. Thank you very much, sir. And yeah, man, we got our 6,000. We on our way to 10. We moving up. So salutes to you. Thank you for being here, sir. Jonathan said Gucci made a song for Chapo saying he was going to tell him bravo. That's a conflict of interest after everything that went down with him. Gucci made a song for Chapo. You talking about Gucci Mane? He was gonna tell him bravo. There's a conflict of interest after everything that went down with him. Yeah, I mean, like, everybody picking and choosing. Like, to me, they're all telling. They're all telling. All right, here we go. The Flores brothers' cooperation against cartel leaders. As part of the proactive cooperation in Mexico, the Flores brothers interacted with multiple high-level cartel members and associates to negotiate the acquisition of loads of cocaine and heroin. Where possible, the Flores brothers recorded these conversations. In total, the Flores brothers recorded more than 70 conversations with cartel members, many of which were associated with seizures of drug money, of rugs or money in the United States facilitated by the Flores brothers. Of great significance, the recordings made by the Flores brothers included 2 conversations recorded with the then leader of the Sinaloa Cartel, Joaquin Guzman Loera, El Chapo. Multiple conversations with Chapo's son and lieutenants, Jesus Alfredo Guzman Salazar, and multiple conversation with a courier for Chapo, all regarding a 20-kilo shipment of heroin in the Northern District of Illinois. Specifically, the Flores brothers negotiated the load with Chapo and Alfredo and recorded multiple conversations with Alfredo regarding these negotiations and delivery logistics. The Flores brothers then arranged for an undercover agent to pose as a courier for the Flores brothers organization and take possession of the heroin in the district. After this delivery, the Flores brothers recorded 2 conversations directly with Chapo during which they negotiated a price reduction. I got a comment in the chat or in the comments today that said, they weren't ready for that life. Look, he was asking him for a reduction. You're missing the point, Papa. He was asking him for a reduction so that he could draw him into saying something specific that he needed him to say on that recording that would stick in court. And that's why I can't have the conversation with everybody all the time. You know what I'm saying? Again, I don't know things. I get clarification. I get perspective the farther we go into the story. But the things we know are the things we know. And we do know that the reason they asked him to bring down that money amount was because they had to indicate him, indict him. They had to get him in to say something specific. And that's why he did that. Jonathan said, after hearing that one conversation with Chapo, I'd love to hear the other conversations. There weren't much between Pete and Chapo that were recorded. He had conversations with other people, though. Here we go. Price reduction. From $55,000 per kilo to $50,000. In the recordings, which have been voice identified as Chapo by multiple additional cooperating witnesses, Chapo acknowledged both the conspiracy's existence and the agreed terms. See, he acknowledged both the conspiracy's existence and the agreed terms. He had to get him to agree to something of this transaction before approving a price reduction. Following this agreement, the Flores brothers recorded equally inculpatory conversations with Alfredo to arrange for payment of heroin. These recordings and accompanying seizures and NDIL form the basis of a strong case against Chapo and Alfredo. Vernon says, Shy, when you get a chance, will you look into the Bluegrass conspiracy? You might want to do a reaction. It's when the head OD on smoke and dude dropped his load and jumped out of his plane. Yeah, I want to look into that. Sounds familiar too. I'll do one of those cartel one of those outside the cartel chronicles videos for that. Meant to say grizzly bear for sure. Oh, that's the Brocane bear story. Elizabeth said, I think he knew they would tell and they were informants. You will not see that picture. I would know if my siblings would tell. I don't know about you guys. Yeah, but I mean, I get it. I appreciate your opinion, but that's all that is. You're just saying, I think he saw something in them. I'm just saying that what's the normal course of action? A big brother probably don't want his little brothers in the game. But again, your opinion's your opinion. You could be right. I would know if my siblings would tell. I don't know about you guys. Here's one thing I've learned in life. You never know with anybody, man. You never know with anybody. We think we know till we don't know, and then we say, I can't believe it. And that's the truth. That's the cut and dry out of it. So do your dirt all by your lonely. You know what I'm saying? Do your dirt all by your lonely. But that's just a small piece. Just, Big Brother didn't want them in the game. That's just something. There's it could have been a million reasons. And he could have known that there was no keeping them out the game anyway. LV said, I've heard the Chapo recordings, but where can I find the recordings with Alfredo? There was one that I heard recently. Again, if you guys find them, drop them in the Discord so that we can have an organized list of all of this stuff. I peeped one the other day, and it had Alfredo at the beginning giving Pete the coordinates of the phone or the number of the phone to call to get in contact with the father or whatever. And I did see that, but I ain't seen the rest of them. So whatever you guys can find that I don't find, drop it in the Discord. Or if you're not in the Discord, let me know you got them. I'll give you a temporary wrench so you can give me the link in the chat, and then we'll go from there. Salutes to y'all. And again, Elizabeth, I'm not ragging on you. I'm just letting you know that, I appreciate you being here. And there was a time where I would have probably been with you and been like, yeah, they probably, the big brother probably knew that they didn't have it in them and this, that, and the other. And just with the things that I've seen over time, it's just you can't tell with anybody, man. I've seen the people that, love people the most hurt each other. You rarely hurt a stranger, So, salutes to you, Elizabeth. Vernon said, I'm shocked when someone don't tell. Yeah, there you go. That's the time to be shocked. Shout out Peter. Peter said, congrats on the 6K, Shy. Thank you very much, Peter. I appreciate you. Peter said, Shy, did you hear that phone call with Pete and Ron? No, but I'll give you, if you can find me the link right now, I'll give you a temporary wrench to drop it in here so that I have a record of it, because I did want to do a Ron video today, and the reason I didn't do it was because I didn't have that piece of audio, and I would like that. Elizabeth Green said, my family didn't tell. I'm not picking and choosing. I just don't think you should do the crime if you can't do the time. I agree. Now the guys that let me see. Now the guys that use it to attack them, more power to them. Nah, that's like it's not right as a tactic. It's not right as a in case of emergency break glass. Depending on how you feel about it and your stance on it. But again, it's their own choice. They do that shit. Everybody else either got to enforce that shit or you got to live with it, because what you gonna do? So salutes, I appreciate you. And I didn't say I don't believe you were picking and choosing. I believe in general as a people, we pick and choose, who to complain about it. It'll be somebody that we love and he'd be super cooperative. We don't talk about it with him. It'd be somebody we don't like and be like, he's a rat. And it's not you, it's just as a people in the United States. We all pick and choose. Peter said, here it is, Shy. All right, hold on. I'm going to give you a wrench real quick. Let me give you a wrench, and then you can drop it in here. It doesn't allow you to drop a link unless you got a wrench. So, this little heart thing be in the way, though, for real. For real. And boom. Let's give... Yeah. All right, Peter, you got to round one. I did it to Elizabeth. My bad, Elizabeth. Taking that wrench back. It's this stupid here, let me move this chat up. This is dumb. YouTube, you got to get your shit together over here. I'll move that. And Peter as a moderator. Go ahead, Peter. See if you could drop it in the chat now. I'm not gonna play it now, y'all, because we're on one subject and I want to do the whole round thing together. But you let me know if you could drop it in there, Peter. Salutes to you. Appreciate you. I will log it because I got some paperwork on round two that I want to talk about. And stuff like that. So here we go. Let's get back to this. The Flores brothers orchestrated similar seizures and made additional explicit inculpatory recordings involving numerous additional Sinaloa cartel leaders. In doing so, for example, in October 2008, Margarito Flores met directly with Chapo, Sinaloa cartel leader Mayo Zambada, and his son Vicente, and multiple high-level Sinaloa cartel lieutenants, including Felipe Cabrera Sarabia. During this meeting, Mayo instructed the Flores brothers to work with Cabrera Sarabia to distribute heroin in Chicago. Following the meeting, the Flores brothers recorded a series of calls with Cabrera Sarabia, setting up a 15-key heroin delivery in Chicago. As with the Sherwin from Chapo, the Flores brothers arranged for a UC, an undercover agent, to pick up the Sherwin from Cabrera Sarabia's courier. The Flores brothers then used the 2 shipments of Sherwin received from Chapo and Mayo as a predicate to record multiple conversations with the Sinaloa cartel leadership, including the 2 conversations. Salutes, Peter. It absolutely worked. Thank you very much, sir. I'm going to take this and I'm going to copy this. Hold on. Copy link. And I'm going to store it. Perfect. Thank you, Peter. Appreciate you. Hundreds up for Peter, y'all. He helped us out with tonight or tomorrow's content. And take that wrench back till we need it again. Appreciate it. All right, here we go. They were able to kick in more recordings because of the seizures that they did, including the 2 conversations with Chapo referenced above. Although later lab testing performed by DEA revealed that both shipments of Sherwin had purity levels above the 90th percentile. The Flores brothers used the ruse that the Sherwin received from Mayo was of inferior quality. See, that's what the guy in the comments couldn't understand. He's like, look at them, they want to drop the price. Look at them, they took absolutely good, pure work and complained about it like it was bad just to get dude to say something. It was a tactic. It was a strategy. Again, although the lab testing performed by the DEA revealed that both shipments of Sherwin had purity levels above the 90th percentile, the Flores brothers used the rules that the Sherwin received from Mayo was of inferior quality to the Sherwin from Chapo in order to further the cooperation. The Flores brothers asked Chapo to agree to a reduced rate because it was harder for them to pay promptly due to their difficulties in distributing the lesser grade Sherwin from Mayo. The Flores brothers recorded similar conversations with Cabrera and VZN discussing the heroin shipments and the payment made afterwards. All told, the recordings made by the Flores brothers with respect to the 2 Sherwin deliveries and seizures were invaluable in building cases against numerous leadership level figures in the cartel. In addition to the Sherwin conversations, the Flores brothers likely facilitated massive Brocane seizures backed by recorded conversations that directly allowed the government to charge additional high-ranking cartel members. In November 2008, the Flores brothers negotiated the purchase of just over 1 ton of cocaine from BLO leader Arturo Beltran Leiva. The Flores brothers also involved Manuel Fernandez Valencia in this load by partnering with him on the purchase. At the time of the transaction, the Sinaloa cartel and BLO were engaged in a bloody war. So they was on both sides, smashing it on both sides. Salutes, Peter. Otori North said, good work. No problem from Peter. Salutes to you. Crash Out said the twins in the family set up a lot of people working with the feds to get them 15 years. They set up a lot of people and still got 15 years. Still got 15 years and it's not over. They done took the wives. Again, family would be the only reason anything they did was worth it because it was all suffrage beyond that. And on top of that, there's people that'll be in prison, next 20, 30 years over. Otodino said, I don't want a wrench. I want a hammer so I can hammer the haters. Don't worry. We'll get you a hammer very, very soon. The hammer is going to be called the clap token. And there's going to be ways for you to win clap tokens too. Every now and then we'll figure out something, do some kind of thing where you win a clap token and you have it to your availability. And if you want to smash somebody in the head with the clap token and get them out of here, get them out the chat, you can do that. You know what I'm saying? Crash Out said they had to lure him in. Absolutely, they had to lure him in. Jonathan's laughing at the hammer. All right. Due to the proclamations from both cartels that their associates were forbidden from working with the other side, the Flores brothers' simultaneous engagement and cooperation against the Sinaloa cartel and BLO was highly perilous. Yeah, dangerous as shit. Beyond the ever-present danger of having their cooperation discovered, either side could have reacted violently had they discovered that the Flores brothers were engaging in transactions with the enemy. This danger was discussed. See, you guys are telling me that they ratted because they were scared, right? But they're pulling off Mission Impossibles over here. You know what I'm saying? So they ratted to get out. I don't know if fear was fear in some point was a factor, but to say they're not built, they weren't built, they didn't do. I mean, they're kind of right. They pulled the whole fucking thing here. They pulled the whole Mission Impossible. Gucci Kano said, "What we talking about, Gucci? You got to come in. You got to come in and know what's up, man. You got to know what's happening. You got to check the replay at the beginning real quick. But no, we're gonna let you know. Salutes, Gucci. We reading paperwork from the indictments of the twins. This is the paperwork, sentencing memo paperwork. I don't want to see the rooster come back making lies. Yeah, the rooster's full of shit. Gucci Kano, what we talking about? Yeah, Gucci, that's it. We on paperwork. We looking at everybody's indictments and memos and stuff like that in the story. This one here is getting crazy. It's about to get crazier. So salutes to you. We're gonna be here for another little while. Appreciate you being here. Shy, look up Blow, the true story of the cocaine berry. I just looked it up. That isn't Vernon. That isn't the bluegrass story. The same thing. The Brocane Bear. Kano's laughing. You got hit the playback. Kano, hit the beginning, and then you see what we're doing, and then you can come meet us over here. Nathan Wallace. Yes, we are actually live. Salutes to you, Nathan. We are in here reading the sentencing memorandum to try to get the twins roughly 10 years that was put forth to the courts. All right, and they're breaking down a whole bunch here. But again, like I was saying, everybody be having comments about how pussy they are. They was pulling off Tom Cruise Mission Impossible shit right here. Beyond the ever-present danger of having their cooperation discovered, either side could have reacted violently had they discovered that the Flores brothers were engaging in transactions with the enemy. This danger was discussed in depth in recorded conversations with Fernandez Valencia and one of Beltran Leiva's lieutenants referred to as El Músico. Following the recorded telephone negotiations, the Flores brothers facilitated the seizure of approximately 1,044 keys of brocaine in Los Angeles that was ultimately bound for Chicago. That's all of those Ontario to Chicago hits we saw. Vernon Heim said it's part of the story of the book. Absolutely. All right, I'm gonna look into it, Vernon, because I want to get into that. In the book, Woody Harrelson's dad does a hit on the judge too. I'm gonna look into that for sure. Chucky Gigon said Chapo felt it. He even says, "Hey, cabrón, I thought it was hard to move. Greed got him at the end. Always go with your spidey senses. Yeah. He could have easily caught on to something right there. But again, this is how thirsty the greed is. You ready? Val ran into a dude that the twins rolled up in a restaurant. Dude called her and them all kind of rats. Armando calmed him down and told him, "Hey, dummy, my brothers are not rats." He said, "Okay, can I get some work then?" That's how far the greed goes. Chapo did the exact same thing that Buddy in the restaurant did. The exact same thing. Went against his gut and thought with his pocket. Woody Harrelson's dad does a hit on a judge too. Yeah, for sure. I'm going to check that out. Peter said, "Yo, that itch was funny when Jay said when Meech come home to the rude awakening to see he wasn't the top dog." That's not exactly what he said, Peter. When he comes back thinking he's going to be top dog and somebody else is taking his place. That's exactly what he said. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe YouTube rolled out a new way for fans to clip. We're going to figure out how to use that over here. Salute Chucky. But yeah, dude did the exact same thing. Chapo did the exact same thing dude did in the restaurant. Los Angeles. Beltran Leiva, Fernandez Valencia, and Músico were all charged in 2009 in connection with this transaction. Beltran Leiva was subsequently killed in Mexico Fernandez Valencia was, unalived in Mexico. Beltran Leyva was subsequently unalived in Mexico. Fernandez Valencia was arrested in Mexico, extradited to the United States, and his case remains pending before Judge Guzman, and Musico remains a fugitive in Mexico. Musico is a boss now. Elizabeth Green said they were scared. Okay. Okay. That's your opinion. Peter said, oh, okay, I got you. Young Sizzle said, I'm smoking a fat-ass blunt right now. Salutes to you. I appreciate you. Don't leave me behind. Hold on. Nathan said, Big Meech was equally non-violent like the twins and not as big a smuggler as the twins, but got sentenced to 30 years and the twins served less than 12. But I suppose it's because they wanted Chapo and it's because they cooperated. According to everybody, Meech didn't cooperate. Some people believe he cooperated through his lawyer. Some people believe, but I haven't gotten into that to know the ins and outs of that. Elizabeth Green said, the fact Meech didn't tell, I don't think it matters. I don't know what you're talking about right there. But yeah, that was the thing. That's why Meech got 30 years. Because he didn't tell. Similarly, the Flores brothers negotiated another approximate 574 key cocaine load from Chapo's cousin and Lieutenant Juan Guzman Rocha, which is Juancho. As with other shipments, the Flores brothers recorded a number of highly inculpatory conversations with Guzman Rocha and then facilitated the seizure of the cocaine in Los Angeles area before it was transported to Chicago. These recordings and seizures served as the linchpin of the case against Guzman Rocha and provided further corroboration of the involvements of others in the conspiracy, including Chapo. Guzman Rocha was subsequently unalived in Mexico. That's the one that was Chapo's cousin. And Chapo had him and El Güerito, I forget his last name. He got him hit. Free all the individuals that didn't tell. Free the man. Salutes. I appreciate that. I agree. Go Buck says, who cares? I don't know who you're talking to. He'll be home soon. Who cares? Yeah, exactly. He'll be home soon. He'll be home soon, and yeah, who cares? He don't give a shit. I don't think Meech gives a shit. Meech is about to get so much legit money that it don't even matter. LV said, tired of people thinking Meech was on the Twins level. They worked directly with Chapo Mayo and Arturo. The only American that can maybe compete is George Young. Yep, Boston George. Nathan said, has the Flores twins ever met La Barbie or Chino Anthrax face to face? Yes, they mentioned that in one of their last Q&As, but yeah, they did say they did. Peter said they did meet Chino, I remember. Elizabeth said they told. You really think that matters? Really think what matters? What are you talking about? Elizabeth, you mad at the wrong person. You know what I'm saying? And stop right now and give me a full comment of what you're talking about so that I can understand. Right? I'm saying they got 12 years because they cooperated. Meech got 30 years because he didn't. That was the conversation I was having with the other commenter. Crashaw said there are others like the twins that never got caught and won't. Maybe. Shout out Albert Flores, said what's good. Salutes to you, Albert Flores. I mean, the game is totally different now than it was in 2000 and from 2000 to 2010. It's a totally different world. Totally different game. Salute Albert Flores. Albert Flores, we're here celebrating our 6,000 subs. We got like 6,050 something now. Salutes to you. Salute Young Jizzle. Facts Shy. That's all I'm saying. Elizabeth, why you mad at me? I wish I had a token to use on Elizabeth. See, that's frivolous because she's just having conversation. She hasn't been disrespectful, but that's what those coins are going to be for. You know what I mean? That's what those coins are going to be for. I agree. Twins ran Chicago. What about Texas and so forth? That's the thing. If they say Chicago was a hub, then it was a hub. What's the rest, you know? No, Peter. Let's not be disrespectful to Elizabeth, please. All right? I'd appreciate it if we keep keep it cooler than that around here. All right? It's okay for her to be upset. It's okay for her to say how she feels. I'm just trying to understand what she's saying to me. She's mad at me right now. So Peter, be nice, please. Elizabeth, you're saying really an OMG. Tell me something. We were talking here. They got a time reduction because I don't know what you're arguing about. Shout out Sarah Lee, hundreds up on a check-in. Long time no see. Sarah Lee, we got our 6,000 subs. Salutes to you. Appreciate you being here. Elizabeth, explain to me why you mad. Tell me. I get it. Salutes to the ones that stood 10 toes down. What else you want me to do? Let me see where I'm at here. Got lost in here. Here we go. Yeah. No. Peter had to chill. We salutes to you, Peter. We mess with you around here, but we're not gonna bully. We don't bully until it's a real troll, and she's not trolling. She's just upset, and she hasn't been disrespectful. Albert Flores says there's also absolutely no way you could operate now the same way you did in 2008. It's completely different, and the respect or loyalty isn't there. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't there then, and people were giving each other up then. All right, Nathan Wallace says, doesn't it seem foolish that Chino Anthrax returned to Mexico after being deported? We're trying to stay on subject here, y'all. I know it's inevitable that he got deported because he's not American, but he did cooperate. I mean, it's the same thing with, I mean, the United States deported him, right? They deported Griselda Blancos to Colombia, and that wasn't a good idea for her to stay there. But the question is, who else? What other country is going to take them? You know. LV said, if you make it to the top of the cartel, you're allowed to snitch. If you're a corner boy or a middleman and you snitch, shame on you. That's the picking and choosing I'm talking about. That's one of the things. Vernon Heim said, Elizabeth Shai is a good guy and this is a good channel. Salutes to you, Vernon's. I appreciate you. And salutes to you, Peter. Peter said, okay, sorry, Elizabeth. Salutes to you, Peter. I appreciate you. Again, and I'm not here to police adults, police adults speaking, but I also don't want to, don't get me wrong. There's going to be, we kind of move kind of quick when somebody disagrees. No, disagreeing is cool. It's once they get disrespectful and all of that, we're gonna try our best to not be disrespectful first. Alberto Flores says he never got deported. Chino never got deported, so he just went. Is what you're saying. I don't know the story. That's why I'm telling Nathan, let's keep this focused on what we're doing right now, because I'll do a Chino Anthrax video and we'll get more details and we'll talk about it in detail rather than throwing around a bunch of shit we don't know. All right. Salutes to y'all. Salutes Elizabeth. Peter said if the twins didn't cooperate when they did, was the government after Vicente? Probably. Let me go back to Chucky's thing. Chucky said, I agree, twins ran Chicago, but what about Texas and so forth? I mean, the question is, did whoever they was distributing to, were them the dudes that was running Texas and the dudes in California and the dudes? If Chicago was a hub, it was a hub, and everything shot from there, and was everything that was going from there through them is the question. All right? But, Chucky, we do not shoot the messenger around here. We're good. Wait a minute, I'm the messenger. Yeah, they take shots at me all the time. Gucci Cano said, I believe Chino was on protective custody. That's why he was in America. Albert Flores says he had a week left and was kidnapped from SD or escaped. Quote unquote. But I doubt he'd do that on a week's left and house arrest sentence. Right. Young Jizzle said, I'm from San Antonio, Texas. I got a lot of love from Texas. A lot of love from Dallas. A lot of love from Texas. So shout out, salutes to San Antonio. Albert Flores says, sorry for getting off topic. What y'all speaking on right now? We are reading the memorandum to the judge to get the sentence for the twins to the lower side of 10 to 16 years. That, if you remember correctly, was denied, and they ended up getting 14. Give me 1 sec, y'all. Just gonna make sure I ain't losing no money over here. Right? Make sure y'all hit the like button. 27 likes, 34 current viewers. Was his arrest due to the twins? I don't remember. All good, Elizabeth. I don't. Was his arrest due to the twins? I haven't connected the twins Chino Anthrax dots yet. Eventually, we got to do a whole. We're gonna get to some stuff in this if I can get to it. Otherwise, there's gonna have to be a part 2 of this live. Nathan said, I know it isn't wise for the twins to reveal the wealth they accumulated because of the government, but how much was they actually worth at their peak? Jay Flores says he was making $3 million per month. Who knows, Nathan? That's probably an answer we'll never get. Go Buck said the proffer. What about the proffer? All right, here we go. Guzman, which was Juancho, was subsequently unalived in Mexico in cartel-related violence. In addition, the Flores brothers recorded an in-person conversation with Alfredo Vasquez Hernandez regarding a 276-key brocane load. Although these rugs were not seized, the Flores brothers' cooperation still enabled the charging. They want every little crumb that falls off the table. They don't want to lose. Sarah Lee said, Nathan, I don't think anyone knows. I don't think anyone should. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, and again, it's who's gonna. No one's gonna say it, and everything we wonder, we don't have to. We don't get every answer in life. Period. Everything we wonder is just a wonder, you know. Go Buck said the proffer, the agreement. Yeah, this is not the proffer though. It speaks of the proffer, but yeah. Here we go. Even though the drugs were not seized, the Flores brothers' cooperation still enabled the charging of Vasquez Hernandez. Finally, the Flores brothers further recorded conversations and facilitated seizures of Sherwin, which ultimately led to Tomas Arevalo Renteria being charged with the rug trafficking offenses to which he has pled guilty before this court. All of these seizures in rapid succession placed the Flores brothers in grave danger in Mexico. When directed by the government to do so on November 30th, 2008, the Flores brothers surrendered to U.S. authorities and were ultimately transported to this district. The focus of their proactive cooperation then shifted to their wholesale customers in the United States, who as of yet unaware of the Flores brothers' cooperation or extraction from Mexico. Peter said, I'm asking about Vicente because it seems like right after the twins turned themselves in, Vicente got arrested. No, Vicente was rolled up in all of this. He's in this whole thing there. They might have gave him up. We're still gonna eventually put personal connective tissue together. You know what I'm saying? Into it. Peter, you're rude. She gets to say her piece, Peter. You did apologize. If she could accept it or not, it's over, all right? And then later, if you guys want to go at it, then I'll go at it, all right? Peter said, I said sorry, Elizabeth. I apologize. That's his third apology, Elizabeth. So you do with that what you want to do with that. You know what I mean? But salutes to you. This is an open forum. If you have something to say, say. But we kind of speak on all the nuances here. We don't just focus on the one thing, because to me there's more to it than just that. And if I'm focused on just that, it's a part of picking and choosing. We're not talking about how Chapo tried to do it and this one tried to do it and that one tried to do it and that one did it and that one did it. They're all talking. And then for the ones that stood 10 toes down, I want to tell their stories too. Again, most of them are not willing to talk. They don't want their names out there like that. They don't want to have the conversation. They'll talk to me behind the scenes, and I salute them for that. But that's basically where we at. Chucky said Vicente had a deal already with the DEA. See, there you go. That probably we're gonna eventually put the personal connective tissue together between the Flores twins and everybody on that list. All right, we're gonna get to something good here if I can get to it. Young Jizzle says, so Sinaloa has Chicago on lock with the help of the twins. Oh, absolutely. I mean, the twins had Chicago on lock when they were not just dealing with Sinaloa. They were dealing with Gulf. They were dealing with, they were dealing with all kind of people. They were getting it from all over the place. And then when they got on the other side, they got with them, which solidified everything. Nathan said, I know you interviewed about this before. But the debate about who was more powerful or who was the boss of the Sinaloa cartel, it seems like Mayo has slightly more edge than Chapo. I mean, he's free. He's free, so if that says anything. All right, Elizabeth Green, you called him rude again. Now I'm gonna leave it to him. Peter says, who has Chicago on lock now? CJ or Sinaloa? We ain't gonna talk about that. That we don't talk about. Albert Flores said, and Detroit. Jonathan Pantoja said, it ain't so simple like on Chicago streets. It's bigger and there's more of a gray area in the story. Yeah. So, but again, we'll get into that connective tissue. We might get some here if we can get through it. Beginning on December 1st, 2008, the Flores brothers placed a series of recorded calls to their customers to set up enforcement actions by the government. The Flores brothers negotiated the delivery of shipments of brocaine to the customers who were then arrested when they showed up to pick up the brocaine. The Flores brothers' proactive cooperation, coupled with their grand jury testimony and the cooperation of the Flores brothers workers, who are addressed below, led to the charging of more than a dozen high-level customers who received on average 500 to 100 keys of brocaine per month. Each of these customers either pled guilty or was found guilty following trial. In the ordinary course, each of these cases, made almost exclusively through the Flores brothers' cooperation, would merit exceptional consideration at sentencing. These defendants served as the primary link between the cartel suppliers and wholesale and retail. There was a direct line from the top to the street. And wholesale and retail distributors in Chicago and elsewhere in the country. While not as high profile as the cartel figures, the successful prosecution of these defendants made a very real difference in combating the scourge of drug trafficking that fuels so much violence and the destruction of communities in Chicago. Whew. Peter said, yeah, so they had Detroit on lock too. I'm from Detroit and heard that they did. These boys been getting money. Was getting money a long time, a lot of places. Yo, y'all got to tell me, what's that concert venue? I went to a concert venue, I think it was in Detroit. I went to a concert venue in Detroit. I believe it was Detroit with Dog. And there was the stage. And there was like Coliseum style seating. Like the concrete bench type deal. And then the lake was behind the stage, man. If y'all could help me with what that place was, I'd appreciate that. It was the dopest stage I've ever seen. I loved it. Performing there, boats honking the horn. I didn't get to perform, but I was there. Nathan Wallace said, are Hector and Ed Calderon the real drug experts they claim to be, as the Flores twins' intimate knowledge of the cartels contradict a lot of what Hector and Ed Calderon says? I mean, as far as the twins tell it, that these guys are just out there talking. You know, and they know some things, but they have an agenda as well. And they have their own propaganda as well. LB said, CJ has Chicago on lock. There's hella work coming through via migrant buses. Young Jizzle said, God bless everyone and all the children of the world. Salutes to all the children of the world. Appreciate you. Chucky Chingon said, damn, brother, you been around. You did your thing. Salutes. Appreciate you. Vernon Himes said, the Emerald Theater. Bet. Cuchicano said, Peter, tap on with me, bro. I'm in Michigan, too. Nathan Wallace said, the news media, mainstream television, and popular podcast portrays Hector and Ez as some of the most knowledgeable of Mexico's drug cartels. Again, these other people, it's all a lot of hyperbole too. You know what I'm saying? The best, like me coming on here and say the biggest cartel podcast that you have ever heard in your life. The grandest cartel channel that anyone has ever seen. I could say all that shit, but it don't mean nothing. Peter said, Hart Plaza, okay. Vernon said the Emerald Theater. All right, so we got to pick which one, because I know I've done. No, one was Green Bay, Wisconsin. The other one was Michigan, but Michigan was the one with the. Is Chicago safe for tourists? Absolutely. Just stay your ass touristing. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be good. But it's absolutely, this is a tourist town. Absolutely a tourist town. Just to say you funny. Salutes. Peter said Harts Plaza. That sounds right, man. I think it was Bone Thugs. It was Bone Thugs and Dog. And I remember getting side stage. We went through a whole thing getting side stage and looking, and there was boats behind the stage. I was like, yo, that's the dopest shit I ever seen in my life. But yeah, all right, let's get back to it. The Flores brothers dismantled their own organization. Through their cooperation, the Flores brothers facilitated the complete dismantlement of their organization. As with the customers, each of the Flores brothers workers were convicted after they were charged. While the Flores brothers' actions in this regard represented downstream cooperation against comparably less culpable defendants, these prosecutions were nonetheless essential to the overall success of the case to ensure that none of the workers rose up to fulfill the void left by the Flores brothers' voluntary surrender. Wow. So they was trying to crush everybody so that nobody came up and took their black book. That's crazy. Oh, Vernon was asking if it was the Emerald Theater. Okay, perfect. Salutes. Peter said Emerald Theater's inside. Every year there's concerts there. You know, that was one of the dopest venues, if not the dopest venue ever. I like that, and I like the House of Blues in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, because it's built like a juke joint. I could appreciate that. Nathan said, yeah, it's behind the Detroit River. Dog, that's a beautiful venue right there. It's not the biggest venue, but it's a beautiful venue. Nathan said, people often forget that Chicago has wealthy suburbs. Hillary Clinton herself is from Chicago. It's divided between the haves and the have-nots. We also have a wealthy downtown. You know what I'm saying? So, both sides, and then you got us in the middle. All right, Peter having a conversation with Gucci. Y'all do that. Salutes to y'all. The Flores workers were collectively responsible for the distribution of ton quantities of brocane and the laundering of more than $1 billion through the course of the conspiracy. In addition, the Flores brothers' cooperation spurred many of the workers to cooperate as well. In addition, the Flores brothers' cooperation spurred many other co-workers to cooperate as well. These workers had dealt directly with customers and cartel couriers, and the cooperating workers' testimony was invaluable in securing convictions against these defendants. As such, the Flores brothers should also receive credit for causing this cooperation to occur where it is likely that it would not have otherwise, at least in as timely a fashion and on the same scale as the mass cooperation that followed the disclosure of the Flores brothers' cooperation to the workers. So they're saying that because the twins flipped, a lot of people flipped, and they wouldn't have flipped as quick, and they wouldn't have flipped as many of them if the twins weren't there doing this. So he's selling the twins to the judge. Chicago is nice. The city is where I go when I'm there. Salutes to you, Elizabeth. It's a beautiful place here, man. I don't think there's a better summertime in any, mind you, for a tourist. I don't think there's a better summertime than Chicago summertime anywhere. I ain't seen it, and I've been a lot of places, and that's cool. I'm biased. You know what I'm saying? My name is Sha'il. My city's tatted on my body. My city is burnt into my existence and in my soul. But I think it's one of the most beautiful summers that you can have. Yo, let's break 30 likes, y'all. Can we break 30 likes? I appreciate y'all. Hundreds up in the chat for y'all. Boom. Lucky Fly said twins better lay low. The cartel is in United States more than ever. I agree. They're everywhere. What part of Detroit? Okay, boom. We're done with that. Flores brothers' cooperation directly assisted in extraditions. The Flores brothers have also signed multiple declarations that were submitted to the government of Mexico as part of a successful extradition request from multiple defendants in this district, including Vicente Zambada Niebla, Alfredo Vázquez Hernández, and Tomás Arevalo Renteria. The Flores brothers have also signed or have agreed to sign at the appropriate time declarations for additional NDIL defendants in Mexico. They redacted this next sentence. Each of these declarations has been or will be made known to the defendants for whom extradition is sought, placing the Flores brothers in increased danger of retaliation. This is the first time I see redactions. Everyone ate the cheese. Go Buck said everyone ate the cheese. Facts. Gucci Cano said, Shy, is the Puerto Rican Day Parade safe? Man, I love them Ricans. I can't say that it is. I mean, the parade is it depends where you catch the parade. You know, if you're catching the parade in downtown, that's one thing. But if you're catching the parade down, and I love Division, I love, But I just wouldn't. I don't feel comfortable just telling somebody, "Oh yeah, it's safe," because I don't know that a knucklehead ain't gonna come out and ask you what you be about, what you ride, this, that, the other, and everything goes left because it happens. So I'm not comfortable enough to tell you that. I'll tell you the parade is dope if you catch it, But I don't think it's in downtown anymore. It's just in the hood now. Again, I quit going to the festival many years ago because the festival just became a battleground. You know what I'm saying? It was like it wasn't fun anymore. So and I used to love it, and that was the thing. I loved the festival. Peter said Chicago is sick in the summer. Shopping, food, everything. Facts. I caught my first case in Chicago in '99. Chucky, you've been a couple places your damn self, my friend. Diego says, Shy, you should go historical mafia points in Chicago. That's a dope stream. I'm not mad at that. That's a dope stream. I'll go to a bunch of historical cartel points, Flores twins, story, type of things too. We could do that. It's not a bad idea. So, Shy, if Musico gets arrested, the twins would be called in to testify? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think they have to do anything anymore. Hold on one second. Okay, I'm still live. Shy, do you drive a Rammer? No Rammers, Papa. Rammers, you gotta have a Rammer. Rammers are nice though. Rammers something to have. In the words of JC, suban suburban. But there's a lot of war wagons in this city. This city was known for that in my day. I don't know that they ram each other as much anymore, as much as they bust at each other, even more. But yes, they all ate the cheese. Elizabeth Green said it's crazy, right? Go Bug. Yes, they all ate the cheese. Peter said, do Puerto Ricans and Mexicans get along in Chicago? For the most part, yeah. Shy, do you drive? I did get them Chicago style hot. I dig them Chicago style hot dogs. Hot dogs is dope too. Hold on, let me see how many pages I got left here. Yeah, we definitely gonna have to part 2 this. But yeah, Chicago's beautiful in the summer, and I implore anybody, if you're a tourist and you want to spend time with your family, you want to come out here. There's a lot of things to do. Our Lakeshore Drive is beautiful. So it's a beautiful town. Here we go. A lot of redaction. Haven't seen this much redaction before. The Flores Brothers Corporation outside the Northern District of Illinois. Flores Brothers Corporation has further aided additional U.S. attorneys' offices throughout the country, including, but I'm sure not limited to, the Flores. They didn't show us the list. They redacted the list, but it's probably the same as the list we got earlier. Ohio, what is D.C., New York, all of those districts, I'm sure. Gucci Cano says, Shy, I can see you giving tours on Chicago. That'd be dope. That's funny. I love my city. But I'm not fooled by her either. I know she's a vindictive, murderous bitch. You know what I mean? She don't fool me. I know what she is. But she's beautiful. The Flores Brothers Corporation has also provided valuable intelligence and actionable information to DEA, FBI, HSI, and ATF offices throughout the country and in Mexico. Analysis of the sentencing factors set forth. Young Jizzle said that shit was a huge domino effect. Absolutely. Affected a lot of things, a lot of lives, a lot of money, a lot of everything. Factors are difficult to apply in a traditional sense to these defendants. Each of the factors contribute to the issue at the heart of the sentencing, striking an appropriate balance between criminal conduct that likely qualifies the Flores brothers as the most significant rug traffickers in Chicago's history against cooperation that almost certainly qualifies as the most significant in rug trafficking and money laundering context in the history of this district. Taking even the low end of the average quantity of brocaine distributed by the Flores brothers per month, 1,500 kilos, yields a total amount of 64,500 keys over the course of the charged conspiracy. This is an almost incomprehensible quantity of brocaine to be distributed in Chicago and other communities throughout the United States, with resulting harm that is incalculable, but without question horrific. All right, make sure everything's good. Boom. Bet. Go Buck said Milwaukee too. Absolutely. I did. As a matter of fact, when I met Dog, it was in Wisconsin, but it was in Green Bay. I believe it was Green Bay. Yeah, it was next. It wasn't the stadium. It was the stadium next to the stadium, whatever that was. Yeah, 2008. Everybody accounts the price changes to 2008, Peter. This is on calculable. However, they are not being sentenced absent cooperation. Instead, in order to determine a sentence that is sufficient but not greater than necessary to accomplish the 3553 goals, the defendant's conduct must be offset by cooperation that is unprecedented in the district. This balance affects each of the 3553 factors. So that's the factor of this whole memorandum. Seriousness of the offense. With respect to the seriousness of the offense, this court is well aware of the factual circumstances of this case, and the government will not belabor those facts here. In short, the defendants operated at the highest level of drug trafficking in the world. While they themselves were not cartel leaders, they were the pipeline that allowed those leaders to push tons of drugs into the hands of wholesale customers, who in turn fed the destructive distribution machines that exist throughout this country. While the cartels have found other outlets, the Flores brothers were so successful a channel for the cartels that they created massive economies of scale, which made it significantly easier and more efficient for the cartels to distribute drugs hundreds of kilos at a time with substantially reduced risks. Young Jizzle said, I lived in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin in the 90s when my parents migrant worked in the corn, a lot of raza from the border. Salutes to you, salutes to your parents, salutes to them. Strong people, hard people. Did you hear what the hell they just said right there? Sheesh. They said these dudes weren't leaders, but these other dudes couldn't make as much and as risk-free as they did with them. They were linchpins in that game. Man, think about the stories the twins have that we don't know about. As Jay says it, man, we only know about 9%. I sure hope the show does its job. I hope so too. But consideration of the seriousness of the defendant's offense goes hand in hand with consideration of the Flores brothers' cooperation. For example, and briefly mentioned earlier, the Flores brothers facilitated the arrival of 266 keys of brocaine in Chicago that had been transported by co-defendant Alfredo Vasquez Hernandez. In the process of facilitating the rug's arrival, the Flores brothers recorded a phone conversation with Vasquez Hernandez discussing the load. They also provided a detailed explanation of how the load was picked up by one of their workers in Chicago. This evidence led to the successful prosecution of Vasquez Hernandez. But providing such evidence to the government on such a significant rug load and rug trafficker would not have been possible absent the Flores brothers' own involvement in serious high-level intentional, international, and domestic rug trafficking. With respect to this particular facet of cooperation by the Flores brothers, however, the court must also consider not just the results of their cooperation, the successful prosecution of Hernandez, but also the way in which it came to be. One aggravating factor of the Flores brothers' cooperation is their failure to report the arrival of the 276 keys of cocaine. I said it. Resulting in its distribution in the Chicago area. That's when they did that load. I guess that's the load that they didn't catch. They let that one through, and the feds was mad about it. Shout out upper echelon in the building. Salutes, Jay. Appreciate you. All right, we're doing some reading over here, Papa. Feel free to chime in. All right, I'm gonna be bouncing from here in about 30 minutes. This is gonna end up being a part 2, y'all, and it's a part 2 because I got good problems. My chat is overactive. All right, but I appreciate y'all being overactive, which is why this will be a part 2 that'll return later. All right, let me finish up these counts here. Jonathan Pantoja. Let's see. Here we go. So, one aggravating factor of the Flores brothers' cooperation is their failure to report the arrival of 276 keys of brocaine, resulting in its distribution in the Chicago area. The fact that the Flores brothers caused such a vast quantity of brocaine to be distributed rather than seized by the government during the pendency of their cooperation, certainly offsets some of the positive results they otherwise achieved. In other words, they couldn't get away with shit. They weren't gonna allow them to make no money, and them dudes let one get through, and they was mad about it. Again, another reason to try to make examples out of them. You know what I'm saying? Salutes GODE, peace, bro. Star. This was needed. Salutes to you. Appreciate it. Let's see. Upper echelon, we got our 6,000 subs. All right, 6K subs. We passed it already. We've been past it. When asked by the government why they initially failed to report this brocane, the Flores brothers stated that they needed the money from this load to avoid the danger of falling too far behind in their payments to the cartel, which is something that the government didn't understand because the twins was as disposable to them as they were to anybody else and as much as anybody is to each other. Shout out to you, Magneto. Salutes. Appreciate you. Salutes to you. Hope all is well. Here we go. Despite their initial failure to report the load following their surrender, the Flores brothers told the government about the existence of the load and provided a detailed explanation of how the load was picked up by one of their workers in Chicago. While this candor in no way excuses their actions in allowing the drugs to be distributed, it did preserve their credibility and enable their further and ongoing cooperation. So they let it get through, but then they smashed somebody with it to appease these fools. As to this particular load, that cooperation helped lead to the conviction of Vasquez Hernandez, who admitted to his participation in moving the drugs. As to this transaction and others, the Flores information and testimony has been consistently and compellingly corroborated by witnesses, documents, rugs, and asset seizures, and dozens of recordings. Beyond their grand jury testimony, the Flores brothers have not been called as live witnesses in any other judicial proceedings. The brothers have been and remain prepared to testify truthfully in court. To date, the government has exercised its discretion to not to call them. Among other factors, the government must consider the extreme danger associated with physically producing the brothers in any venue outside of their protected custodial locations. This risk and the steps and resources required to mitigate the risk have weighed heavily in the government's decision not to call the brothers to date. To be clear, however, the government believes the Flores brothers are viable and credible witnesses, and the government anticipates using them in the future. Saludos, Aaron Hernandez. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Salutes to you. All right. Here we go. The seriousness of the offense is also highlighted by the enormous sum of money involved in the conspiracy. In total, the Flores brothers admitted to facilitating the transfer of approximately $1.8 billion of rug proceeds from the United States to Mexico, primarily through bulk cash smuggling. Even after paying the cartel sources of supply and other expenses associated with running their organization, the Flores brothers profited mightily from their rug trafficking. What became of the Flores brothers' profits was a heavy focus of the government's investigation. The Flores brothers were extracted from Mexico on a few hours' notice and left millions of dollars of assets behind in Mexico, including numerous homes, properties, and vehicles. Although the Flores brothers provided a truthful accounting of these items, because they were not lawfully obtained in Mexico, in the Flores brothers' names, the government was not able to successfully pursue forfeiture or seizure. The Flores brothers themselves came to the United States via airplane with the little but clothing and the evidence they gathered in Mexico. Their family members entered the United States with a small number of personal belongings, a relatively small amount of cash, and multiple high-end vehicles that they were driving. There you go. That corroborates what Val said. They was in the best cars driving through the dirt trying to get here, you know. Young Jizzle said, did you ever see the twins out in the streets back in the day? No, not that I can recall, no. The government's investigation revealed allegations that the Flores brothers facilitated the collection of millions of dollars of rug proceeds from customers in the United States who still owed debts to the Flores brothers. The allegations continued that the Flores brothers had caused this money to be secreted from the government through multiple means, including through burying money in various locations. So they had customers that still owed debt, and then the government said they were going to bury this shit. In response to this information, the government took several investigative steps, including exhaustive asset checks of the Flores brothers, their family members and associates, as well as a simultaneous and separate interview of the Flores brothers and their family. The Flores brothers both admitted to causing their associates to collect approximately several $1 million of rug proceeds from a customer in the Washington, D.C. area shortly after their arrival in Chicago in December 2008. So is this the whole Kylie situation here? The Flores brothers both admitted to causing their associates to collect approximately several $1 million of rug proceeds from a customer in the Washington, D.C. area shortly after their arrival in Chicago in December 2008. The Flores brothers further admitted that they took these actions without reporting them to the government, even though they were otherwise actively cooperating. This money was then transported back to Chicago and used by the Flores brothers and their families, at times for impermissible reasons, without informing the government, including for the purchase of a Bentley as a gift for Pedro Flores' wife and other wholly inappropriate expenditures. The remainder of the funds collected, totaling more than $4 million minus $300,000 total, was provided to the Flores family to provide for their sustenance and security. The remainder of the funds collected, totaling more than $4 million. Okay, minus 300. So they were just throwing 300 grand and said, live. Total that was provided to the Flores family to provide for their sustenance and security and legal fees paid to their attorneys were voluntarily surrendered to the government and are subject to forfeiture pursuant to the terms of the defendant's plea agreements and the agreed motion for a preliminary order of forfeiture filed with this court. The government went to elaborate lengths to determine whether the Flores brothers were truthful.
Jonathan Pentwee donated $5. Salutes, more power to you, Chief, for being able to keep up the lingo for so long. You a better man than I am, lol.
Salutes to Jonathan. He says salutes in the power chat. Salutes, more power to you, Shy, for being able to keep up the lingo for so long. You better than I am. Salutes to you. Appreciate you. Thank you very much, sir. And here's the thing. I missed a couple, all right? A couple of them slid through, but it's all good. Let's see the chat now that I'm here. I wonder if their hair was gray. That's a lot of stress. And this is just a little bit of stress that we hear. The living it is a whole nother thing. I wonder if their hair was gray. Yeah, if it wasn't then, it is now. The money that Aaron Hernandez said, the money that the government supposedly confiscates from drug dealers, do they actually get it? The money that the government supposedly confiscates from drug dealers, do they actually get it? I'm sure some of it falls off the back of the truck. Some of it gets somewhere. Magneto said these guys single-handedly bring the price up. Absolutely. 2008. People come in the chat all the time. Hey, ask them if they were the reason the prices went up in 08. Facts. Salutes to Kino in the building on the check-in. Salutes to you, sir. Appreciate you. Hundreds up, man. We saw all the homies today, right? Couple of y'all missing out there. Bunch of usual suspects in here. Hit the like button. Got a couple more minutes here. Here we go. The government went to... here we go. The government went to elaborate lengths to determine whether the Flores brothers were truthful. Again, salute to Jonathan Pantoja for his $5 donation. I appreciate you. I'm on it, though. I'm going to keep the lingo going. I'm trying to get used to it. Salutes Gucci Cano for his $10 super chat. He said, I second that to what bro said about the lingo. Salutes to you. I'm trying to keep it up, dog. I'm trying to be, everything YouTube wants me to be. Motherfuckers. Oops. Salutes to you, though. Appreciate your super chat and appreciate you, Jonathan. Thank you, guys. The government went to elaborate lengths to determine whether the Flores brothers were truthful in the information they provided, including the immunization of those involved in the pickup and transportation of the money, to determine whether any additional funds were being hidden from the government. The government found... One sec, y'all. Nothing. The government found no evidence of the existence of additional funds. Without credible evidence to the contrary, and after an exhaustive investigation, the government does not believe that the Flores brothers are hiding assets from the government or this court. Accordingly, the government does not believe that the Flores brothers' assets to be a factor in this sentencing beyond the above described conduct of collecting, hiding for a limited period of time, and improperly using funds without informing the government. All right. Need to promote deterrence. The need to promote deterrence is also impacted by the Flores brothers' culpability cooperation balance. The need for individual deterrence is minimized to large degree by the extreme hurdles that the Flores brothers would face in any attempt to return to drug trafficking. As two of the most well-known cooperating witnesses in the country, the Flores brothers and their families will live the rest of their lives in danger of being unalived in retribution. They are essentially surrounded on all sides by some of the most violent actors in the criminal sphere. The barbarism, that's Gucci Cano's donation. The ring off came a little bit late. Salutes to you, Gucci Cano. Appreciate you. Again, I second that to what bro said about the lingo. Let's see. The barbarism of the cartel is legend, with a special place reserved for those who cooperate. Having cooperated against not only the leadership of the cartels, but also their sons, family members, and the closest associates, the Flores brothers would in all likelihood be unalived absent their protection from the government. As an illustration, against the direct admonishment of the government not to do so, the Flores brothers' father re-entered Mexico in 2009 after the government facilitated his entry into the United States for his own protection. Within days, the father was kidnapped and presumed unalived. A note left at the scene of the kidnapping made explicit that the father was taken as a direct consequence of the Flores brothers' cooperation. The Flores brothers also faced danger of retaliation from their former U.S.-based associates. These threats make a return to drug trafficking next to impossible for these defendants. The need for general deterrence must also be considered. Again, in the ordinary cause, this case would scream for a substantial sentence to deter others from engaging in similar conduct. This remains a necessity here. The Flores brothers are in a way the ultimate success story from a criminal perspective. They rose from street level drug trafficking in Chicago all the way to the top of the cartel world, along the way earning millions of dollars in profit. From the point of view of an aspiring drug trafficker, this success would be something to emulate, and considerable prison sentence would be appropriate to deter others from attempting to follow suit. This need for deterrence, however, must be offset by legitimate interest in promoting cooperation by those engaged in criminal activity. In this regard, the Flores brothers represent perhaps the best case scenario for high-level cooperation in the narcotics realm. The Flores brothers began their cooperation on their own accord before they were arrested, and while they still had the full faith of their co-conspirators. The results they obtained would not have been possible had they waited until they were in custody before beginning to cooperate with the government. And as detailed above, once they began cooperating, their cooperation was extraordinary and hugely impactful. For this reason, an appropriate balance must be struck between general deterrence and fostering cooperation as a viable alternative to persisting in a high-level criminal enterprise. All right, here we go. Personal danger and risk. The issue of personal safety and risk is also relevant. What happened? Oh, super chat jumped up. The issue of that boy says narcotics. I see you've been reading the thesaurus. No, that one. SoCal gave me that one. I was looking for a word for it, and SoCal says narcotics. What? It's in the thesaurus, bro. I'm writing my own thesaurus right now. And guess what? These words might not work. We still might get flagged. I might have to make new words later. But just like we know, I like bumper cars better for the, when we're talking about that, brocane. But, it is what it is. YouTube's going to do what it do anyway. YouTube is an addict. The issue of personal safety and risk is also relevant to appropriate sentence under 3553. The Flores brothers and their families are forever at risk due to their cooperation. The government remains confident in its ability to protect the Flores brothers even after they've served their prison sentence. However, the threat to the Flores brothers and their family will continue to affect them after they serve any sentence imposed through limitations on their freedom of movement, necessary in order to ensure their safety, and through the ever-present fear of retribution that will exist, regardless of what steps are taken to ensure their protection. This fear often serves as a complete bar to defendants who are contemplating cooperation. That the Flores brothers overcame this fear and put themselves in a position to gather the extraordinary evidence they did is yet another exceptional aspect of their cooperation that serves to offset their criminal liability. Let's see. The defendant's history and characteristics. Let me see. How many I got before I get... I'm going to stop here because that's going to be part 2 because we'll never get through it. Not the way I want to get through it. And it's juicy. Here we go. The defendant's history and characteristics. The culpability cooperation balance is relevant to an analysis of the Flores brothers' history and characteristics. Since they were teens, the Flores brothers have engaged in an unbroken chain of criminal conduct that culminated in their status as massive distributors for 2 notorious and violent cartels. This is a long history that would normally justify a long prison term. However, as described above, the Flores brothers' cooperation serves as the counterbalance. An additional element to these competing dynamics is the Flores brothers' history of violence or lack thereof. For obvious reasons, a violent history calls for a substantial sentence and greatly reduces the credibility and viability of a witness. Now remember this when we start talking about these other guys, when we start talking about the guys that got less time than the twins, gave up less information, and had more bodies on them. You know what I'm saying? So a raw deal is a raw deal. Despite an exhaustive investigation, the government has not uncovered any acts of violence performed by the Flores brothers that could be corroborated by sufficient credible evidence. This is, again, why I believe if they had any bodies on them, they would have proffered that shit. They would throw that shit in the proffer. Because if they find it now, they're popped. The government did learn of 2 specific allegations of violence. Here we go. Wait a minute. Let me see what this is. Oh, okay. This was allegations, though. These are just allegations. The same shit we always hear. The government did learn of 2 specific allegations of violence. That the Flores twins were involved in the murder of Redacted in Chicago. And that the Flores troubles were involved in the murder... I said the word murder, huh? I got to think of a new one for that. The unaliving of Guadalupe Ledesma in Mexico. The government reviewed the entire file of the investigation of these unalivements by state authorities and found no credible evidence of the Flores brothers' involvement. Moreover, multiple defendants were convicted for the unalivements, including a defendant who cooperated with the state. Yo, what kind of country am I in where I gotta change words that are not cuss words, that are not offensive words? It's crazy. YouTube got its own country going on in the that agreement that yes, I agree. They got in the disclaimer, they got a whole country in there. Flores brothers' involvement. Moreover, multiple defendants were convicted of these unalignments, including a defendant who cooperated with the state. The defendant did not implicate the Flores brothers in any way. Lupe Ledesma was a former associate of the Sinaloa cartel to whom the Flores brothers, that's Tio Lupe, Flores brothers owed a debt. Supposedly owed a debt. A single witness has stated that he was told by others that the Flores brothers were directly responsible for Ledesma's unalivement. Well, before the witness's statement, the Flores brothers described to the government the circumstances of Ledesma's unalivement. According to the Flores brothers, Ledesma caused Pedro Flores to be kidnapped over a rug debt. Pedro Flores was later released after payment was made, and Chapo intervened. The Flores brothers stated that Ledesma lied to Chapo over the circumstances and amount of the debt, and that Ledesma was ultimately unalived. The Flores brothers denied any involvement in his unalivement. The Flores brothers further stated that Chapo offered them the opportunity to unalive Ledesma, but they declined by stating that they did not want to engage in violence. Upper Echelon said, wait till you read the Cartel guys' paperwork. Vicente, Chino, Meanie, and the other 24 bosses, including the... I want to read all of it. Y'all down for me to read all? Hundreds in the chat. I'm going to read all of it. I want to read all of it. All right? SoCal said a la orden. Salute to you, SoCal. All right? The competing version of events from other witnesses is largely the same with respect to the lead-up events. However, the witness stated that the Flores brothers were actually responsible for the competing version of events from the other witness is largely the same with respect to the lead-up events. However, the witness stated that the Flores brothers were actually responsible for the Ledesma's unalivement. Although the government has found this witness to be credible in the past because the government has not corroborated the witness's statement in any way, the government does not believe that there is sufficient evidence, even by a preponderant standard, to conclude that the Flores brothers were responsible for this murder, unalivement, and accordingly do not believe that these allegations should affect their sentence. Hundreds up. Y'all want to hear all the paperwork? I'm going to find all the paperwork. We're going to get all of it. I'm going to read everybody's dirt sheets. Hundreds up. Salutes to y'all. Upper Echelon said, plus they've been cooperating since 91 against their rivals. Look up the paperwork. I am going to look it up. Will do. Salutes to Yair. Salutes to Sarah Lee, Jonathan. We outside. Jonathan said, I'm trying to hear the other recordings. We'll do all of it. Here we go. Government sentencing recommendation. Pursuant to Fed R. Crim P11, the parties agreed in the plea agreement in this matter that the defendant should be sentenced to no less than 10 years and no more than 16, and that the parties shall be free to recommend any sentence within the agreed range. The government recommends that the court impose sentence at or near the low end of the agreed range. A sentence at or near the low end of this range strikes the appropriate balance between culpability and cooperation, accomplishes the sentencing goals set forth in 3553. Wherefore, conclusion, wherefore, for the reasons stated herein, the government respectfully requests that the court depart from the applicable guidelines range and sentence defendants at or near the low end of the agreed range, 10 to 16 years imprisonment set forth in the defendant's plea agreements. Respectfully submitted, Michael Ferreira and all these other guys. Now, down here, we get into evidence and phone calls made by the twins and all of the stuff that's on record. All right, we're going to go through that, but we're going to go through that another time. Why are we going to go through that another time? Because we did a lot of talking. We did it, and I have to go. It will be tonight. I will come back and I will go live. Honey's up in the chat if y'all's going to be with me when I come back and go live. It should be 7, 8 o'clock. I should be back on Central Standard Time. We'll talk about that, and then if I can find any other paperwork, we'll do that. I got the link that Peter sent, so we'll be having our round episode soon. But again, I want to go through Vicente's paperwork. I want to go through all of it. Upper Echelon said, if you find the pictures, let me know. U.S. Marshals have them. Yeah, I'm going to look for these pictures because I ain't see no pictures. You would think with all the flashing lights that they had out there, we get some pictures. We didn't get shit. Again, salutes to the chat. I appreciate you guys being here. Of course, we got Nathan said, Carlos Leder is one of the few kingpins from Medellin Cartel that's still alive. I believe he has the C word, and that was one of the reasons for his release and deportation to Germany. Salutes to you, Nathan. I appreciate your information always. All right, got hundreds up in the chat. We will be back 7, 8 o'clock. I got to go be a good Theo. You know, I build up my good karma and, you know, be a man to some little girls that need a man in their life. And that's what I'm on right now. So when I get back, we will cover these things right here. And we'll go through that. And we'll see what else we can find. All right. Salutes Young Jizzle. Salutes Old Soul. Hunters up in the chat, child. We're going We're gonna make it we're gonna get out of here. Salutes to Power Chat and Streamlabs. The Power Chat link is working, so your comment can pop up straight on the screen. Again, everything's working now. Salutes. I appreciate you guys being here. It was a fun stream. Listen, I enjoy these paperwork streams. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of reading, but y'all ain't got to do it. You know what I mean? All y'all got to do is stay focused with me. That's it. Again, I appreciate y'all being here. It was a great live. You guys are always great to kick it with. And I will be back later on to go through some more of this stuff. We're going to go through the evidence when we come back. We're going to go through the evidence and see what we got there. We got a lot of good stuff here. All right. Again, I appreciate you guys. We're going to go out of here the way we came in. I'm going to throw my honeys up in the chat. Thank you, Old Soul. Thank you, Gucci Cano. Thank you, Jonathan Pantoja, for your donations. I appreciate you guys. We had another paperwork party today, and it was a good time. Salutes to Upper Echelon for granting his time and his 2 cents. Thank you to him. And again, we're going to look at everybody's paperwork. Chino's paperwork, Vicente's paperwork parties, all right? That's what we on. All right? We'll be live. We're gonna be hanging out all week. So again, I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Y'all have a great day. Have a great evening. I'll see y'all in a little while. I'll be back, and we'll get back to the paperwork party, all right? Salutes to y'all. Right there, they'll wait for the kill shot, they'll sit and they'll stare. If we got a real shot for us, it's up there. We're hopeless if we stop, they'll kill us right here. Living in death's den, run through the best winds, storming the front gates. Whatever gets us in, whatever gets us over, whatever helps us win, whatever we must do. Rescuing our kids, as long as they get through it, don't matter if we live. God chose to bless you, I'll take all that death gives. I'm into this war ends, in memory of dead friends, in hope of a new way when all of this death ends. Who can we call on? It's me and it's all y'all. We're here by our lonesome, nobody to fall on. Flesh in the dirt, fire to ashes. Fate getting closer every moment that passes. Running away, no one is there, no one to save us, nothing to spare. How can I change what? We landed here, it's not the same sun, this is despair. One of us came up, none of us cared. They want to change up, life isn't fair. It's how we made, huh? Now you aware. It's why you fear us, this why you scared. Show me a safe place, does it exist? It must be a wasteland where nobody lives, that nobody knows of, where nobody's been. Where we at is warfare, every time you can get. What you can't get is real love and fucking respect. Set up for failure, a life of neglect. If none of us stand up, we'll live with regrets. If we rise, we might die, I call that a good death. What would I live for if I am oppressed? How can I raise up with the world on my chest? Who's gonna save us if you and I rest? They shoot us in cold blood when under arrest. Lock us in cold cells, consider it home now. Cut off from emotion, our feelings are stone now. Our buildings are blown out, the madness is so loud. It's dark and there's no sound, we gotta go now. Running away, no one is there, no one to save us, nothing to spare. How can I change what? We landed here, it's not the same sun, this is despair. One of us came up, none of us cared. They want to change up, life isn't fair. It's how we made, huh? Now you aware. It's why you fear us, this why you scared. The illness is prevalent, natives malevolent. Hunger, starvation now, no hope for a heaven sent. Kiss the babies goodbye, say I love you to wives. Grab your weapons, get your steps in, we gon' ride when it rise. The sun mean what when it's blinding your eyes? Put the wind to your back, leave them facing the sky. Put the pain in the dirt, raise your bloody fist high. Use your brain, do the work, strategize and survive. The rush of the dust up, the thrill of the gun buzz. The satisfaction of our reaction when there's no one to help us. The spoils of war, the hunger for more. The passion of how we smashing what we hate through the floor. The rage, the loneliness of dead on the page. To cleanse this land, gotta burn more than just sage. Crush the cage, body and soul unafraid. Kill them all and set them ablaze. No running away.
No one is there, no one to save us, nothing to spare. How can I change what? We landed here. It's not the same, son, this is despair. One of us came up, none of us cared. They want to change up, life isn't fair. It's how we made, huh? Now you aware. It's why you fear us, this why you scared.
Cause I'm here to show the world something.
If you can hear these visions, then take a long, hard listen through the walls of this prison.
I'ma show the world something.
In case you haven't seen the signs, they'd rather I not give you peace in the mind.
Cause I'm here to show the world something.
And that made me a threat, they wage war, and that made me a vet.
Cause I'm here to show the world something.
Lighters up, heads high, your battle scars and the stars in line. Let's make this clear, we don't know why the fuck we here, where we end up when it's done, or why it's something to fear. How it started, who made the call, we know nothing at all. Just instincts, holding on when you sleep and you fall. The ability to share love, the humility to share blood. We have a will to help us change us. We have a reason, our belief in what we can't touch, what we can do to make it useful and enhance us. That's all I got for answers. If you and I were to unite, we cure the fucking cancer. Slay the beast, reign supreme, build the future faster. Pass up every bastard that been looking past us. Hands up, hand us back the culture. We can patch up the holes dug up by the vultures. We can handle the havoc in hell when it's unholstered. Slug to the shell, back in the pistol before it's over. If you can hear these visions, then take a long, hard listen through the walls of this prison. In case you haven't seen the signs, they'd rather I not give you peace in the mind.
Cause I'm here to show the world something.
And that made me a threat, they wage war, and that made me a vet.
Cause I'm here to show the world something.
Lighters up, heads high, your battle scars and the stars in line. Young Thundercat wanna rap, spit that flow. As long as the gap blow, he can get that dough. He thinking it's all he knows, cause it's all he's told. He has yet to get a taste of what he don't know. What it's like to be alone when your family is gone, cause you putting them all in danger, bringing bullshit home. When your bitch has enough of your shit and she hit the bricks, and your brother from another trying to slip her the dick. When the walls get thick behind bars and brick, cause you stood in front of a judge and watched someone you love. Detailed in the script, telling all of your shit. You realize you're getting buried in the hole that you dug. Most times, things are nothing like you imagine. We tend to see the romantic and never question the damage we cause with these flaws. I'm asking for answers and you just grasping at these straws. If you can hear these visions, then take a long, hard listen through the walls of this prison. In case you haven't seen the signs, they'd rather I not give you peace in the mind.
Cause I'm here to show the world something.
And that made me a threat, they wage war, and that made me a vet.
Cause I'm here to show the world something.
Lighters up, heads high, your battle scars and the stars in line. Change something, show the whole world you can make something, create something. We got nothing to take nothing. You stay frontin', you walk in the stage and say nothing. Say something, you standing over the grave dumping dirt on your own, the shovel, the chrome, the same function. The powder to charge the bullet right through your brain function. The future's the past, the system is crashed. There's a virus in your iris, third eye made of glass. Learn to feel, differentiate the false from the real. Religion from human spirit, you survive through your will. Family first, nurture your own. They gon' pass the knowledge on the generations long after you gone. Question it all, think for yourself. Accept your mistakes. When you fail, never forget how it felt. Teach someone something instead of bitching about the cards you was dealt. Only then will your presence be felt. If you can hear these visions, then take a long, hard listen through the walls of this prison. In case you haven't seen the signs, they'd rather I not give you peace in the mind.
Cause I'm here to show the world something.
And that made me a threat, they wage war, and that made me a vet.
Cause I'm here to show the world something.
Lighters up, heads high, your battle scars and the stars in line.
Alright, alright.